The Pinball Network is online. Launching.
Triple Drain Pinball Podcast.
All right, I know Travis is getting antsy. This new thing with Zencastr, we're just hitting buttons and we're trying to do all the audio in one take, and so because of that, Travis can't talk, and we're doing our. You can talk now if you want to cut me off. I can tell you're antsy to do it, but
No.
no, we can during our pre-recording meeting, we just were like, we just need to get into it. Like, screw this. Why plan? Why get a plan here? So we're diving right in. Tom, are you good to go? You feeling good?
Better believe your ass, I'm ready.
Travis, how you feeling? You good?
Let's go. Let's do it.
Here we go.
Joel.
Here we go.
Start the song, Joel.
I gotta hit the song, but you gotta be quiet. You gotta be quiet during the song.
Okay, I'm ready.
We're three guys who like to talk pinball, so we came up with a clever name. We're Joel and Travis Scott who talk pinball, and we call ourselves Triple Drain, Triple Drain, Triple Drain. We're Triple Drain.
Okay, we did it. We got everything out of the way now. So Travis, you can do whatever you need to do. I feel like you've been holding in a fart and you just gotta let it rip.
I'm so hyped from just sitting here and not being able to say anything or do anything.
It's the intro, man.
Thanks,
we gotta
Mom.
get through it. Yep.
Well, here's the thing, Joel. Like, intros are important. You have to hook the people, Joel.
Oh.
Is fucking Tom playing
Tom's
an
playing
EM
pinball
in the
right
middle
now.
of this?
Tom has filled his room so much that the hallway between his games now has a game.
I'm
Yes.
practicing for Worlds. Go ahead.
Is that what you're I used to edit out all the stuff in the background noise, and believe it or not, most of the time the background noise was Tom. You know, just chugging a beer, or just now it's all background noise of an
It was
EM.
me?
No, or it's mostly Travis actually getting up, getting down, ripping him, cracking his eighth beer.
Why is this me? I don't understand. What have I done to you all day? I've only made fun of you for like, I don't know, 10 minutes this morning. Are you still hurt? Are you still hurt over that?
I'm not hurt over that.
Your joke didn't hit this morning.
It hit just fine. It hit just fine. Yes.
Carl didn't laugh at it.
I do think it is
That's
funny.
all that matters.
Oh, he laughed. Carl laughed. He almost had to go home from work. He was laughing so hard. I could tell.
No, he specifically said he had to see what I said.
Oh,
not the other way around.
Right. Got it. Okay. Few things. So first off,
hey Tom, what game are you playing back there, by the way?
That is High Hand.
Oh. Joel, do you know what High Hand is?
Yeah, it's an old EM. Clearly.
All right, good talk. Let's just go on the podcast. Okay.
So what do we got? A few things. First off, this is the second week using Zencastr to record video. It while we record, the video looks like potato cam. It looks terrible, but hey, it actually came out looking pretty good. So I was pretty happy with that. Hopefully, the people watching YouTube are enjoying that. If you
Travis looks
thanks
terrible
for watching
right
it.
now.
Travis
Tom,
looks
do you
probably
love this?
better.
I like how we don't. You know what? I'm going to ignore your barb, and I'm just going to say I love how we established that we don't have a pre-production meeting about this, but then you proceed to have the production meeting within the first 2 minutes of the podcast.
We have stuff we got to get out of the way.
Why do the people need to know about how we do Zencastr? I don't understand. Like, do you want to tell them like what toilet paper you're ordering for your bathroom?
Quality content. I'm
okay.
just
okay.
So anyways,
I'm pissed that I didn't get a mod like you guys did. Let me tell you.
What?
That's a good segue there.
Let me tell you.
We'll just go into it.
Hang on. No. We got to talk about
For
Zencastr
the guy
more.
who's buying all these pinball machines in here.
Yeah. What I was saying about
Joel,
Zencastr.
Let's talk about Zencastr some more. Yes.
Yeah,
That'll
because
keep the people here.
Zencastr is so important to the pinball community.
Yep.
Yes. For everybody there that wants their pinball content, we're going to tell you about Zencastr right now.
We're still talking about it.
You're going to hear it.
We could have been done with it. All I'm saying is we have to pay for it.
I'm going to go play. You do Zencastr for a few. Do your spill. By the way, we're not getting paid by Zencastr. We're paying Zencastr.
That's what I'm trying to get to. What I'm saying is now that we Tom is playing pinball right now. What I'm saying is now that we pay for Zencastr, I appreciate the Patreon members that we recently got 4 new members. Thank you for those people that are supporting this channel. Travis is gone. Tom is checked out.
Now I
So
know
the whole
why short
reason
people are so good at pinball.
the whole reason I brought up Zencastr was to thank the new people that are supporting this podcast. Why they're supporting this, I don't know. But
so they could hear you talk about Zencastr and how we spend their money. That's it. That's what they want.
That's it. Yep.
Thank you guys.
This is
we
not
appreciate
going
it.
well.
Okay, so we could check that box. So Tom, why you pissed? You pissed because Travis and I got a mod and you didn't. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty par for the course.
Yep. I don't. Maybe people just have sympathy for Travis. I think I ask kindly, and then they just feel bad for Travis. I think that's why he gets random things.
Yeah.
I appreciate everything I get.
Yeah,
Joel, I do. I appreciate it all.
I'm with you. So
I appreciate that you're with me, that I appreciate whatever I get. Thank you.
What we want to talk about, this is going to be a battle. Tonight is just going to be a struggle to get through any of this, isn't it? That's what I'm...
Tom and I are all hawked up on caffeine right now.
True.
Okay?
Right.
I have Diet Dr. Pepper. Tom, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm all out, baby.
So we have like 10 more minutes of this, and then he's just going to quickly decline.
Yeah, you got about 40 minutes of them dozing off.
I'm all out, baby. Okay, what we want to talk about is, we talked about this a while ago, Pinwoofer. I have a full Pinwoofer kit. I have it in Godzilla. The thing is awesome. But when I originally reached out to the Pinwoofer guy, what I was asking about was whether or not he had some sort of headphone adapter kit, because I use those in all my games. Started a really interesting conversation. Turns out he had one in development, and he finally got it made. And what's cool about his headphone adapter kit, if you go to pinwoofer.com, it's called the CDU, the coin door unit, is it's more than just a headphone adapter kit. It also has all of the sub functionality in it. So he had this separate unit, this like bass booster unit. He built that into the CDU. And Travis had voiced that he doesn't do anything to his games besides add a sub. So Dan, the guy at Pinwoofer, is like, I want Travis to try this. If he's tried a bunch of subs, let's have him try this. So that's why he sent Travis one as well. So what is cool is on this unit, you got your normal knob for your volume. You have a headphone jack for headphones, but then you also have 2 knobs for a sub out. You have a crossover and a volume knob for the sub. And they're making fun of me because I'm using my hands. And the last thing that they added, which is really neat, is there are 4 buttons on the bottom. And those 4 buttons correlate to your buttons on the inside of the coin door. So you can actually mess with the menu and any of that stuff from the outside without having to open your door. And if you don't like that, there's a switch on the back so you can disable those buttons. If you have children, yes. Travis is directing a plane to come land.
This is how it used to be before we did video.
Yeah, just a lot of making fun of me while I talked. Yep,
right.
That was.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm for the people that aren't actually listening because they tuned out during Zencastr, but they're still looking.
They're still here. Yep.
Yeah, they can see me like signing what you're saying. It makes sense.
We'll turn this into the very serious pinball.
Yeah, we got. So what I will say is, I've been testing the CDU, the coin door unit. Oh, Travis's camera's gone. It would have been so good if it would have gone out while he was doing his stupid hand signals, but instead, anyways. So the coin door unit, it's actually awesome. It works really, really well. It does everything I'd want a headphone adapter kit to do. Now, what I will say is, it's $150. So if your goal is just to add a sub to the game, there's another company that makes like a $30 part, and you can add a sub. The problem with that is you have no control on the input feed to that. So it could be coming in too hot. You have no crossover. You got nothing like that. So if you want to make your sub sound as good as possible, that's where the bass boost unit comes in. Or in this case, the CDU unit would make your sub sound as good as possible. Then if you want to replace your backbox speakers, which Travis also did, he replaced his backbox speakers without the full amp. Yeah. Did you do it, or Monica?
No comment.
So you can replace just the speakers, and then the next step up would be you get the full-blown system with the amp and everything, and replace the cabinet speaker, the backbox speakers, and all that. So there's a lot of different options. It just really depends on how far you want to take the audio. And Travis, what are your initial thoughts? This was your first time experiencing a Pinwoofer anything. What are your thoughts of the kit, the CDU with the replaced backbox speakers?
It's fantastic. Believe it or not. I'm not saying that just because I got a kit, but no, it's actually awesome. Whenever you're hearing the bass and the just the sounds are really rich. And I wasn't sure how it would sound, like if I could actually tell a difference between just having the regular sub with, I think it's like the Pinnovators
exactly
thing that I have. So yeah.
Yep.
So, and that still sounds great. Like, I'm not saying that sounds bad. That sounds great. It's just, it's almost feels like you're taking this like a step up or even two. It is crazy fantastic. And I've had it put on Godzilla, and now just hearing that song go during a multi-ball when it works, when the multi-ball actually starts, by the way, Tom, you remember that? So when that actually happens, it's just like, yeah, you can hear the richness of the sound.
Yeah.
And there's really no other way to describe it other than that. If you're, I guess, what's the word for it? Audiophile, if you're like really into that type of stuff, you're going to love something like this. And, you know, for a home environment, it's excellent. And right now I'm trying to figure out ways that I can get something like that for all my modern games that I have, especially if I want to listen to the music during it. Like, it's just, it's a great product. I'm thoroughly impressed by it.
And the speakers that he replaced in the back box were designed by Dan with Pinwoofer specifically for this application. So, I mean, there's so many tiers you can do with replacing audio. I mean, there's people that replace the back box speakers with the Kenwood speakers that are in the LEs. There are people that use they make their own amps. They do a whole bunch of stuff. And I will say, this is the second thing of his I've installed. The instructions are incredibly well done. It comes with everything you'd possibly need, even the quality of like wire that's supplied. It's not this dinky little thin gauge. Like, it's legit. He really takes pride in his product. So I would just say, if you're looking at improving the audio quality of any of your games, definitely check out Pinwoofer. Tell them Joel and Travis gave him a thumbs up, whatever. It doesn't, we have no affiliation to it. We're just saying, I just think it was cool that however many months back I reached out to him asking for a very specific thing. Turns out it was in development, and here I am now with that, and it works fantastic.
Yeah.
So
I think if you get this, you will not be disappointed.
I agree.
I'd be very surprised if somebody got this and was just like, yeah, this isn't any better than what I had before. It's noticeably better.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. And I haven't, to be honest, I have not hooked up a sub, so I haven't been able to test the sub part of that, but I've tested the rest of the system, cabinet, backbox, full amp, and now the headphone, and it all works exactly how I'd like it to. It's awesome. It's a fantastic system for sure. I will say right now, if I ever sell my Godzilla and I happen to have another Stern, I will be taking that out of Godzilla before I sell it
not going
to
with
move
the game.
it to another game. Yeah, it's sorry, but it's not going to go with the system. So, that was that. See, this is why we have a production meeting, so we know what to go to. But I just looked at my camera, and what we're going to go to is Bond 60th. Check this out. Did you want to go to something else?
No,
I thought you want me to play mine while you're talking about it.
No,
I'm right here.
I thought we were going to talk about Zencastr some more.
Zencastr, it's a fantastic program. Did you know we pay for it now? But we don't personally. It's not like coming out of your piggy bank. It's the great people Patreon that are helping support us. It is actually, yes. It's coming off of my credit card. Anyways, Bond 60th. You can see it right here in the background. Zach with Flipping Out has let me borrow one. I now have played it. I've streamed it. Tom, you've had it a few weeks now. Travis, I'm assuming you've still just stared at a box. Is that right?
Keith won't bring me the game. I don't know what's going on.
I'm caressing mine right now.
So I streamed it, and I actually sent a link to Keith. Keith actually watched the stream, found a bug. Apparently, I was robbed out of a hold bonus or something. He's like, "You were robbed of 1,000 points," which I needed those 1,000 points.
Did yours come with a shaker motor installed?
No, mine does not have a shaker motor installed. Oh. I need to install one, but I will. They forgot to do it in the factory. That's the story. All 500 of them were made with no shaker motor, so now they're being made afterwards. Anyways,
why would you put a shaker motor?
Because it was, anyways,
at least they didn't forget the topper.
Good.
I
so
true. That
topper
probably would have pissed off a lot of people.
I will absolutely plug my stream, the Flipping Out stream on YouTube, because I did a topper cam. That is something that they have not shown well. Like in all the footage and all the everything, the topper and how well it's integrated into the game is actually super impressive.
Wait,
Like,
who are you doing that for?
what?
Who's the company?
Oh, flipping out. Yeah. Every
Oh,
time I
okay.
say it, I know Travis,
And
he feels like, because he works
they?
for they. What are you talking? Stern has not shown this topper in action, in my opinion, very like there's adding that to the stream. I hope I portray how well that topper is actually integrated into the game.
I'm actually staring at it now, and it's doing more stuff than what I thought it did.
It's
like already looking at it. Yeah.
Genuinely impressive. Like, and so what a question that's come to my mind is that same topper is apparently supposed to work on the Cornerstone game.
Here, just move over just a little bit. A little bit more. I
hope you want me off camera. Got it.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying just a little bit more.
You can clearly see
your
it
hat
in
is
the
in
video.
the way from my angle. And your hand's in the way too.
Anyways,
okay. Go ahead. Perfect. Now talk about it.
That topper is supposed to be on the Cornerstone game, and I doubt it's been integrated yet because they haven't sold it. But I hope they integrate it to the same level as this game, because it's truly, the light shows that come off of that topper are really, really impressive. Besides that, though, the game kicks me in the butt every single time I play it. It's a high. I don't know. By myself, I'd have to check.
Not co-op crap.
I think I've broken 10,000.
10,000?
I am so much worse than you, Tom. Why is this a surprise?
You just asked
and
him as
I'm
GC.
worse than hundreds of other players.
Okay.
I've never heard anybody give that answer back to what is your GC on the game.
Because the game has co-op and it's awesome.
But that's where your mind went to immediately.
Yeah. How do I want to play it? How do I want to play that game? Do I want to play it by myself, or do I want to play it with somebody else? I want to play co-op, because co-op on that game is a
stream
blast.
with Neil doing co-op.
Yeah,
should.
And you
Joel streams himself playing 4 players.
No.
So.
No.
What do you mean?
No, we only did.
I've seen you do it
I've done
before.
that. I did that on Turtles.
Talking about.
I did that on Turtles, and I did that on TNA, but I have not done it on this. You're implying that I did it on this. I did not do it on this. Anyway,
I said Joel will stream himself as 4 players, and you're like, no, and then you give me conclusions.
I jumped to conclusions. The game is great. The reels in person actually are really slick. That's another thing that does not communicate well over video. And I actually genuinely like the screen in the middle of the playfield. It's super convenient to see what to hit. I will tell you, what's displayed on that screen is very basic, but the game is fast and there's very little that like stops the ball. So you really don't have much time to look at anything besides the ball. So being able to just look at the screen really quickly and immediately know what's going on is very helpful. The audio in the game is actually really well done. Like, as you do different modes or whatever, and maybe it's just, this isn't a jab at the Cornerstone Bond, but when I had the Cornerstone Bond, the audio at the time was not good. And this is so much better integrated. Now I know Bond is getting better, so it'll get there. This is a complete game, but I've had a blast with it. My overall stance, though, is this a game for everybody? No, this is a collector's item. But if you can afford it and you are a collector, I think you will genuinely enjoy this game because of everything that's in it. It's a super fun game to play with other people, whether it's co-op or against them, just because the ball times are so short and it's a more challenging game. But the shots are super satisfying. Tom's playing the game. He loves it.
No, I was trying to update to the new code.
Yeah, we all are. That's a good
today.
transition, which we're about to use. But I'm going to put a pin in that transition. Great transition. But I like the game. I have reached out to Keith. I've talked to him about the game. And he did say, he goes, I truly want, like he said, he's like, I wanted to make an unbeatable game, or an almost unbeatable game, because the game is hard. To get through all the villains, it's not start the villain modes. You got to beat all the villain modes. Like, you got to collect all the bonds. There's a lot you have to do to get the wizard mode. He said this whole time that he's played the game, he's only got to the wizard mode twice. And this is Keith Elwin. So, Tom, if you get to the wizard mode, pat yourself on the back, because that is impressive. It's a cool game. I don't know. Has your opinion changed at all on it, Tom, recently? Or
no, I still love it. It's
Great
not
answer.
going anywhere. Nobody's gonna buy it anyways.
Well, it is surprising.
At this time,
there are distributors that still have them, but then there are already people selling them. But that's every new game, right?
it's an expensive game.
It is, but it is. I don't know. It's just a fun game. I had a very different in the 2 weeks. I streamed Foo Fighters 1 week, and then the very next week streaming Bond 60th. Just completely different experiences, but they were both very, very fun. Very, very fun. Insert Tom's transition. Oh, updating games. Great transition, Tom. You're updating your games. Yes, today, as of 420, every Stern
Actually,
LCD
I
game.
couldn't because my Wi-Fi isn't.
Oh, it's poo poo. Yeah. Every single Stern LCD game has a code update. So they updated the overall like Stern operating system so that I don't know, there's more to do with Insider Connected, but some of the games actually got actual code updates. Foo Fighters just got an update. I know I was reading through that. There's a bunch of stuff they did there. And Godzilla, they added some new stuff in Godzilla, which is pretty cool. But Travis, we had posted that we were going to record, and somebody actually said, has Travis or somebody found any exploits in Foo Fighters? And so, Travis, have you read through the new code release, and any of the exploits that you found, have they patched them, worked them out, or made them worse? I don't know. Thoughts on that?
So they slightly nerfed something a little bit, just based on, I think it was the formula that they changed. I haven't looked at the readme of it. I was actually trying to pull that up right now, but I heard that I guess the formula for the last shot changed a little bit to where it's not going to be worth as much, but I forget what the formula is exactly. It had something to do with, I guess, time remaining, and something else, but we're kind of getting in the weeds on that. Basically, the one thing that I kind of figured out in the game that there's really, I don't see this getting patched necessarily because you still have to do a little bit of work. But one of the things I really enjoy about pinball is that you try to break down the geometry of it, right? And that's the one thing that they can't change after the fact. So you try to find something that's a safe shot or a repeatable shot, or you try to correspond that with what the rule set is. So you could find something that's worth the most amount of points, and then you're very efficient with your shots. And one of the things that caught my eye when I was watching the reveal stream was that Raymond at one point had hit the targets, and when he hit the stand-up targets, it ricocheted back to, I guess that's the 180, or what's that called?
Which targets?
The stand-up, or the drop targets. Sorry,
the drop targets. Got
the
it.
drop targets. Yeah,
drop targets. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then it goes to that little 180, right?
Yep.
And then
around
it goes
the right ramp.
Right. And then it goes back to the upper flipper. So one of the things on it, and I will tell everybody this, do not sleep on the van mods.
Yes.
And what happens is those targets, when you drop them down, it leaves that paddle exposed. And this is when you drop all three down. So the nuance is, and you guys can correct me if I get this wrong, but I believe the nuance is if there's still one up, then that's kind of like what your bonus X would be if you hit that paddle while another target is still up, I think.
I thought it was if you hit the paddle when they're not all down, doesn't it pop
right,
them back
that's what
up?
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. When there's still one up.
Yeah.
Or maybe even two. I don't know. I think if it's just like the paddle's exposed and there happens to be a drop target still up, then you hit it, that helps with your bonus X, I think.
So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't really focus on that. What I focus on is getting all the targets down, because then that exposes the paddle. So every single time you hit that paddle, whatever insert that you're on, whether it's like, I think it's engine, speakers, and something else. It has to
shield.
do with, is it shield? Is that what's called?
Well, it's a bomb. There's a bomb.
Right. The bomb. Yeah.
Which engine and speakers. Yes.
Okay. There it is. Yeah. Bomb, speakers, engine. Yep. That's it. So basically, when you hit the paddle, it'll level up whatever insert.
It's not speakers. It's a shield. It's a picture of a shield.
I thought it was speakers.
No, I'm looking at it right now. Engine, there's a shield, and there's a bomb.
Okay, actually, here, let's settle this right now. I know for a fact this is on the rule cards. So if somebody has a Foo Fighters that happens to be like 5 feet away from them, if they could look at the rule card real quick.
You want me to get out of my chair? Is what you're asking?
Sorry.
It's a squeaky chair. It's a squeaky chair.
Please, with sugar on top.
Yeah,
can you go look real quick?
Yeah.
So anyhow, I know that this is there. So you hit the paddle, and that'll level up whatever you have going on. And basically, you can hit the paddle, ricochet it around, hold your upper right foot.
Okay, this is dumb. It says bomb speakers engine, but the icon of speakers is a shield. So apparently you read and I look at pictures. That's what I'm saying. We're both right.
I what?
You
What'd
read.
say?
You can read, actually. I know. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So anyhow, so you hit the paddle target. It goes up through that little 180. You hold the upper flipper up, and the ball will hit off there, back to the paddle target again, and then it's actually pretty safe coming back to the flipper. The reason why
to hit the paddle target after it goes around that ramp, though, are you holding up the flipper?
Just hold it up,
and it just
you don't
trickles over and hits it again.
Yep. So, and I tested this out on, now I think it's been 4 different versions of this game, and it's held true on all 4 versions. So different setups, different locations, everything.
Yeah.
And essentially what happens is you're able to level up whatever you have lit a lot easier, fairly safe, and it's part of the geometry of the game. Reason why this is important, once you do start your modes, you can have higher scoring, less shots, more time, and all that really just adds up to just more value overall. So I had basically, I think I played, it was either New Orleans or it might have been Roswell, but either way, I ended up having like a UFO stacked with it, which is your spot a shot.
Yep.
And I basically sped run through the whole mode in less than 10 seconds. Sorry, speed run.
Thank you. Okay.
Through the whole thing. I can read a little bit. Anyways, I did a speed run through it, and I mean, it was worth a lot of points. I forget how much it was. I was shocked at how quickly the score just like went burr. Like the points just came.
Yeah.
And yeah, you have to set it up a little bit. But now that I've done that, I'm kind of like, well, ball 1, if I have the ball save, at first I was going for Overlord, but now I'm not so sure.
And you can plunge straight into the targets. You
can.
Yeah.
You can. So I've gotten to where I tried it for a few games to where I was just trying to level up, the paddle and level up everything else that's there. And yeah, I saw my scores just go up a lot more than what I was expecting. So it almost feels like that the way that the game is set up now, it's worth like really focusing on targets early on, because you already know that you got to hit
the van upgrades. Yeah.
Right. And you already know that you have to hit 3 white shots anyways, right? So it's bound to happen. It's
so how many times do you have to hit it to maximize it?
It was 6, and now I think the levels go up to 7.
So just to communicate that to people who are checking out, but what's going on is when all the drops are up, it's a scrolling light. So it's going between each one. So as soon as you hit one drop, it'll lock in whatever that is. So if it was on speaker, it'll stay on speaker. Then you're trying to hit the other 2 drops down. Once all 3 are down, it's actually a timed thing before they pop back up. So what you have to do is you've dropped them down. So I think you've got level 1. Or do you have to hit it? You have to hit the paddle once, or it's just once you drop them down, you actually get a level.
I think once you drop them down, then you got to start hitting it. But I think what happened now is that you can actually, I think you get like double value or something like that with whenever you hit it the first time. I'm not sure what it is. I know that they made an adjustment with the new code, but I do know the way that the feed is, if you're quick with it and your aim is true, you can fully level up pretty quickly. I mean,
well, with what you're saying, you hit it, it goes through, and then on the way down, it's hitting it again.
There's 2.
Yeah. But it's in the timer, I think, before the drops comes back up, resets every time you hit the paddle. But I think there's a short amount of time where if that paddle's exposed, you can like level up your thing. So the best way that I can compare this to is, remember, this is Tanyo's code, Tanyo and Rayday. Tanyo did Deadpool. So Deadpool, if you're going to go into a battle, the team ups are huge. Whether or not you get Domino or Dazzler or Wolverine is huge. But once you've qualified Wolverine, that's it. You just qualified him. There's no like leveling system to Wolverine. This is that same concept of more points, more time, or less shots, but you can just astronomically like increase the power up, which happens to be your van power up. So it is, to be honest, it's something you could completely ignore if you wanted to. You could absolutely ignore this entire system in the game and just focus on starting cities and working your way towards wizard mode or whatnot. But it is a really cool, like, this is definitely going to be, I'm excited to watch some tournaments in this where it's like, okay, what's he going to do? He needs to get this amount of points. Okay, he's getting his thing leveled up. But I forget, but it's once you get it, like, let's say I level up the speakers to 3, but I haven't started a city and I drain. On the next ball, are my speakers still leveled up, or is it gone when you drain? or you don't drain, so you don't really know?
That's a good question. Now I'm trying to figure that out. I'm pretty sure
Joel,
if I
walk
remember right,
over
it was
your
still
game.
It started.
Yeah, Joel, go play a game real quick. We'll know.
I don't have my Foo Fighters yet, so
Your
I
Ellie's
can't
on its
test it.
way, though, right? I mean,
Yeah, supposedly.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I will just say this is
It's an excellent game.
This
It's a lot of fun.
genuine. You guys know how much I love
Left in the
Deadpool.
street.
You guys genuinely know how much I love Deadpool. And what I will tell you is
That shit's leaving. Foo Fighters is staying.
there's some truth to that. So Deadpool is actually leaving. Deadpool is actually leaving.
I was just
Yes.
kidding. Are
No.
you serious?
No, Deadpool is actually leaving.
Why?
For two
Where's he
reasons.
going? Okay.
Two reasons. Reason number one, my collection, I can have 4 pins, and having a game like Cactus Canyon in the house, I realized how much I enjoyed having that type of game. A more simple, more approachable game. I know this is, I know your feelings. So for me to get a game like Cactus Canyon or another CGC type game, I have to sell a game. So it's between Deadpool and Godzilla. What I will say is when I had that other game in the house, when I had, I found Deadpool was the game I played the least. Also, when I stream the game, it is a very linear playing game. So it's like you're playing the same 3 battles. Even if when you get through the next guy, you have to play the same 3 battles again. They're more complicated. But what did I like about Deadpool, or what do I genuinely like about Deadpool? I do like the modes or the battles, and I do like the shot geometry. The katana ramp shot, the way that squiggles through the playfield is awesome. And I love the left orbit to the katana ramp. I love that on a premium. So in my mind, Foo Fighters, when it comes to shot geometry, has like taken that thought of having the ball whiz around and squiggle all over the playfield. Like I feel like the thing that I liked about Deadpool, it went up a notch. You know, some of the shots in Foo Fighters and the way that it goes around the playfield is super. Like the kinetic satisfaction is huge. I really like. I almost feel like it's more than Deadpool. And then on top of that, the code feels like they took all the great things on Deadpool and just went further with it. So instead of having 3 battles, you now have 6 cities. You have the team up is now the van power up, but it's even bigger. Like there's more you can do there, and they're continuing to add things. The bot frenzy mode is awesome. They just added in the new code. It's some sort of radio mode. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to do it. So I just feel it's like Tanyo's first effort was Deadpool, and he killed it. But now that he's had an amazing game, I think it's just experience, and he's built upon that and taken it one step further. So I'm not saying, I mean, like, is Foo Fighters better than Deadpool? I don't know if I can commit to that. But some of the things that I really love about Deadpool, I feel like Foo Fighters is doing just as well, if not better. So Deadpool is out, not for Foo Fighters. It is on the way out. The other side of that is they're doing another run. So I know with Deadpool, so I know this right now is the time to sell because there's about to be a whole bunch more on the market. So yes, unfortunately, Deadpool is leaving next week. So this video right here will probably be the last time you see Deadpool behind me.
What do you mean it's leaving next week?
Like the guy's coming to pick it up next week.
You already have a buyer?
I already have a buyer ready to go.
Tiny tear.
Tiny
Wow.
tear.
Very
I'm going to
gone.
miss it. There's no way I'm not going to miss it. I genuinely love the game. But when you have a 4-pin collection, unfortunately, I can't do what Tom does and just shove another pin between my games.
Tom's shoving a pin behind him.
He's like yeah,
in the
it's unbelievable. But so yeah, I had to make it. I had to make a tough choice, and if it came between Deadpool and Godzilla, I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep Godzilla.
That's why I couldn't help but giggle. I wasn't laughing at what you were saying, but I was kind of laughing at what you were saying. To be truthful, just because you were talking about how you were kind of running out of room, and I'm just looking at Tom just sitting there like this, and he has a pin directly behind him.
He literally
next to,
could turn. I think
he
from
has.
his seat,
he's literally turned around and started playing.
But from your seat, without getting out of your seat, how many pins can you touch? Because you have Rick and Morty outside of frame.
Honestly, Joel, I think we had a pinball. We had a pinball podcast.
This isn't normally here, by the way.
I know.
Where a host in the middle of the podcast just turns around and just starts playing.
Yeah.
Like
That's
doesn't even get out of
ballsy.
it. Doesn't get out of his seat
right there.
Yeah. Nobody will ever doubt whether or not we actually play pinball, thanks to Tom Graf.
That's true. Yeah.
You don't get
beauty.
this on any of the other Twippy nominees.
So, so a game's leaving in my collection. Travis, there's 2 games, right, that just left your collection?
Well, no, the Beatles left a long time ago.
A long time
for the
ago. But
Rush.
tell me real quick, what was the
Got
game
a
that you
ticket
took
to ride.
that left your house today? What was that game?
A game that was called Toy Story 4.
Oh boy, it happened, everybody.
Boy, are you gonna miss that one?
So
Man, my twins were pissed.
he has 2
off.
little girls, and he broke their hearts today.
Oh yeah. JJP is clearly they've cornered the market for the 6-year-old female demographic.
This is a
no
serious
doubt.
question. Did either of your daughters play the game with you standing behind them, and then they happen to hit a shot and you do a fist pump? Did that happen?
Yes.
It did happen. Okay. So the marketing material was spot on. That's what I'm hearing. They knew exactly how owners would play this game.
Well,
Did
I just
Monica
did it.
give you the look of death when it left?
Does Monica know? Is Monica in town?
Yeah, she helped me pack it up. She
Probably
was
packed the
fine.
whole thing up.
She was
Let's be
fine.
real, Tom. She packed the whole thing up.
She's fine.
She trucked it out of the house.
I hauled
and
it out of
Travis
the house.
stood there and pointed.
Yeah, that thing is heavy.
While
I
drinking
hauled it
the
out of the
beer.
house.
Yeah, you're doing a great.
So-
you probably want to do that. Yeah,
Monica, you're doing great.
Yeah. I would
so-
wrap it. If it was me, I'd wrap it again. But
So-
I mean, you're doing a great job. Yeah.
I legitimately, I didn't even think of my daughters like getting mad about this because they play it every now and again, but not enough to be like, here's the deal. My girls, they don't work. They're 6 years old. They can't afford a $12,000 pinball machine. So they're, they were just enjoying
Should
life.
be working.
Yeah, they
clearly.
need to
Yeah.
be. But, I was just sitting here in my office minding my own business, trying to get some work done. And all of a sudden, I just heard like a blood curdling scream.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. And I thought somebody was hurt. So I go around the
She was
corner.
hurt.
Like, what happened?
Yeah. Well, she looked at me and then she looked back at the empty space, looked back at me, and I could just see tears start welling up. And then she looked back and I was like, oh, no. So
Dad,
I
didn't even get to say goodbye.
Oh, no. So I realized what she did. She's like, where did Toy Story go? And then she pulled out the daddy. She was like, Daddy, where'd it go? And I'm like, oh, fudge. And so I told her, I said, hey, it's like, let's play Godzilla instead. Like, here.
Yeah, how'd that go?
She yelled out, no, I don't want to play that crappy game.
Here's what
I was
she
like,
said.
No, I don't.
I was like, who am I raising right here? I was like, one. I was like, okay, you love Toy Story. You love the theme. But it's like, how dare you call Godzilla a crappy game? Yeah, it turned from me
all
being
sympathy
like,
gone.
yeah, I was just like, go to your room and
Sympathetic
think about
dad.
what you've just done.
Yeah. Go print off. I know she can barely read, but print off Pinside and say, "What's that number 1 game?" Read that out loud. Yep.
Well, okay. So, but yeah, when she said that, I was just like, okay. I was like, I'm sorry. And she's asking, well, are we going to get it back? So I had to basically, I had to be like, well,
You're screwed, man.
I was just like, so here's what made it worse, guys. I was standing there trying to figure out what to say, and she was still crying. So it was like one of those things where she was like halfway in between like yelling and just kind of sniffling. And like when you get really upset and you see somebody crying and they're like shaking their head, like, yes, but you haven't asked them a question because they're trying to like keep themselves together. Well, she's doing that. And meanwhile, I hear my other twin's voice from atop the stairwell yelling out, Maddie, why are you crying? And then she comes
didn't even
down.
know.
Oh no, she comes down and then she sees Toy Story's gone. I'm like, shit.
And it just happened again. There he goes.
Oh.
There goes his camera.
Yeah, I wish my camera would have went out while I was trying to deal with this. So she ends up looking at it and she looks at me and she's upset too. But see, she's the youngest one, so she doesn't cry. She gets pissed. And so she's looking, she looks at me, she's like, where's
dare you.
Toy Story? I'm just like,
With the straight.
So-
you've got 5 seconds to answer this question, and be
I was
very
standing there,
careful
and I
what
was
you
like-
say.
I was just like, and then my other twin, she stopped crying. She was like this, and she stops and she looks at her and she's like, Dad sold it.
You were just legitimately scared of 2 6-year-old girls today.
After she said that, I just got out of there. I just went back upstairs.
You bolted.
I was like, well, let's just let nature take its course.
Have you talked to them? Have they talked to you since?
I mean, it's been a little sketchy.
Okay.
Feelings are still hurt. It's still raw right now, but I'm sure.
It'll take a few days.
That's
Yeah, just
awesome.
take them to Target, get them a $10 plastic toy. That'll smooth things over. Dad of the year then.
Hey, Tom, have you ever sold a game that made Neil cry? Has that happened?
No.
No, okay, just checking. Just checking. Oh, that's unfortunate, man. I know I get heckled because I take my friends and family thoughts into consideration with games that I've had, and
not me, evidently.
Well, yeah, but when Toy Story did leave, because Zach had let me borrow one of those, that was one that both of my kids realized. They were like, there was a game they genuinely liked. Now, they're almost 5 and 3. How much they like Toy Story. They weren't actually playing the game by themselves, but that was a game they wanted to watch me play. So I don't know. I see why there are families that probably absolutely love that game.
Oh my God.
And I do know I used to have a MAME cabinet that I had built myself, and it had a trackball in it. And one of the games that was on it was Simpsons Bowling. And that was one of the only games one of my nieces played. And when I ended up selling that MAME cabinet, she came to visit once and she's like, "Where's Simpsons Bowling?" Like, she was legitimately upset that I had sold it. So how dare we, sell our things?
You got to be careful. But yeah, I've probably officially removed 2 souls from the pinball buying community in the future. So
they could have got into this hobby, but
they
don't want to get attached to anything because Daddy's just going to sell it.
We were talking about free stuff earlier. If anybody wants to send a Toy Story 4 back to me, I will gladly accept it.
I mean, people are sending stuff to you guys.
Yeah, I think I think Tom's due. I think Tom's due for somebody to send us.
Don't send me anything.
What a beauty that Tom Graf is.
Well, Tom, just to review,
no more shirts for anybody.
I was going to say, the stuff that's been sent to Travis has all been genuinely to make fun of him in some capacity. So, you can just continue to be a true professional like you are, Tom, or just mess up, on a major stage in front of thousands of people, and maybe you'll get stuff for it. So you choose what you do, take whatever path you want to take, Tom.
I was just helping Escher, Jason, and Keith. Okay. Yeah. I decided to only play 2 balls, Joel.
That's fair. Yeah.
And then you helped Bowen, Carl, and Donovan too.
He's a giver. He gets in that final situation and he thinks, "How can I help these other 3?"
Yeah.
I've been focusing on me this whole tournament, but you know what? Let's see what I can do for these other guys.
That's fair.
Is there anything in the code update to help with
to help Travis?
To help with Godzilla?
He's helpless.
And the
somebody did write in and said there is some sort of opto on the vertical, like there is a part there that should have detected that. And they explained it in some capacity, but at this point it doesn't matter.
Didn't they change the code to that a little bit to where you can get to Planet X now without
that is new
or something like that? Somebody text me about that, but I haven't read through it. So
for me and my skill level, I'm pretty excited to do that. Because as of right now, the only way to get to Planet X, which is the final, there's a final wizard mode, which is if you beat everything. Is that King of Monsters? I saw you
could play like King of Monsters now as one of your choices, but then you can't play the other wizard modes.
Oh, I don't. I just
that's
skimmed
what
it really
I read
quick.
in the
But
README.
Planet X, as of right now, there's only 4
Joel
cities you can go to.
Me like I don't.
No, I'm not dismissing. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I mean, you can read it right. You can pull it up. You can read. I don't know.
I fucking will.
But Planet X, the only way to get to Planet X originally was you had to get through all the cities. But to get through all the cities, you actually had to get through all 3 tier 2 modes. So it's a lot. It's a lot you had to do to get to Planet X. But apparently there's a setting where I think once you've played like one of all the things, like you only have to do 1 city, but 1 tank mode, 1 bridge mode, 1 blah, 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 blah. There's an option then where you can then choose Planet X. Instead of going to another city, you could go to Planet X if you want to experience that. So
you can skip cities now.
You can skip things,
basically, is what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So is that city still lit? Or do you lose the city completely?
I think it's basically whatever. I don't know. I skimmed it. I'm going to misquote it. You should read it. But what is cool is for somebody like myself that may never see Planet X on my own, there's another option that I could do to try to do that. And they've adjusted scoring too, where if you actually go that way, things are worth different points and blah, blah, blah. So,
all right. So let's look. I have it right here.
Okay, he's gonna read.
Go ahead.
Who's a better reader? I think let's let Tom read.
No.
Do you have it? Do you have it in front of you, Tom?
I'm gonna watch this paint dry. Go ahead.
No, if you have it, I just defended you earlier, Tom Graf.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Hey, I vote Tom. I want Tom.
I vote Tom too.
I vote Tom.
No, I'm watching the paint dry.
Okay. Let's not interrupt him then. Let's let him watch that paint.
Yeah, so listeners can just look it up themselves too.
I nobody's gonna read it. Perfect.
But it does say play any like tank, any bridge, Tesla, kaiju. Leave Tokyo, select city or light, select city again. Any battles or cities that are bypassed when selecting Planet X early are no longer available for the rest of the game. So there you go.
So it's really if you go to Planet X,
Godzilla power up.
If you go to Planet X, though, I mean, you've committed because is Planet X once you're done with Planet X, doesn't it stop it? Doesn't it stop isn't the game over?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're at Ball 2 and you finish Planet X, I think the game's over. Like, I think if you go to Planet X, you're done. Afterwards.
No. Would that really happen?
I think right now the code's always been that way. If you actually, if you finish it, the game's over. Like,
but what happens if you bypass? Can you imagine somebody doing that in a tournament? They're like, I bypass, I go to Planet X, and they're like, okay, game's over. No Ball 3 for you.
I don't know. Tom is saying, check out the power-ups. What happened with the power-ups?
What's
with the power-ups, when the Planet X unlock adjustment is set to easy, completing the first hurry up in Planet X will unlock a second choice for Godzilla power-up level 8. The first choice is always lighting the mini wizard mode you didn't pick from level 4. The second choice, if available, will be light King of Monsters.
Oh.
And then any mini wizard mode skip by choosing light King of Monsters is no longer available for the rest of the game. But that's only if you have it set to early.
So you could go to Planet X and then choose to go to King of Monsters. And I'm pretty sure at the end of King of Monsters, the game's over. Like, it stops. The ball's over. But you have to set your game to easy. That's not going to happen in competition. This isn't going to be a thing you can do in competition.
So don't they have a Carl setting? Well,
Carl,
no, isn't there like
difficulty?
a Carl difficulty? Yeah.
Probably.
So what do you think they should rename early? Or was it? Is it early?
Are you implying they should name easy mode Joel? Is that
I'm not just implying. I'm saying that they should.
Mode.
Yeah.
I mean, part of me would be, part of me should feel offended, but hey, if Keith wants to he can name whatever he wants in a pinball machine, Joel, and I will take it with a smile on my face.
Joel mode.
But I'm telling you, whoever's going to set their game to easy, I don't want them to be confused. Like, I see Joel, medium, hard, and Carl. Which one do I pick?
Default King of Monsters initial should be Joel.
Wow. Okay. Hey, Keith, you do you, man. We're not here to tell you how to do your code. But I don't know how do I have that conversation with my dad? Hey, Dad, guess what? They've named a difficulty setting in a pinball machine after me. Oh, really? Yeah, it's the easiest one. It's the one that they have simplified it as simple as possible and removed all difficulty.
Yeah,
that is now
awesome.
Joel.
Carl, normal, and Joel.
Hey, I'm fine. I'm fine.
I'm fine with being on this.
Tom.
If somebody put an Easter egg in the game in which you select, like somebody actually picks the Joel mode, right? And then when they close the coin door, the damn game just shuts itself off.
No. In Scooby Doo, if you try to pick adult mode, there's an adult setting and it won't let you. It picks it, and then there's a call out like, haha, fun try, but not this game, So
that's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, you pick Joel mode and it'd be like, no, you have more.
No.
It's what is it? It's like
No.
think
He'll say
better of
we're-
yourself or something.
No, he'll
Shoot
say
higher.
we're all out of rubber bands.
You're better than this. That's what it says. You just you pick it.
You can
You're better
believe
than
in
this.
yourself.
Yeah, you're better than this. Yeah.
That'd be sweet. Like the pinball machine just gives you positive affirmations.
But to get it, you have to
Deep
pick Joel
thoughts.
mode. That's what you're saying. Oh
it,
Lord.
it just has a sit down talk
You're
with
better
you.
than this.
A little pep talk.
Oh man.
That is pretty sweet though that they figured out a way to pull in wizard modes earlier in the game to where it's not necessarily like, I guess, making the modes up front easier. So the modes are still the same default settings as themselves. So
well.
that's pretty sweet.
What I think is interesting is in Keith's other games, he's added the ability to just hold down the flippers before you start, and that's how you get to what is it? Battle Royale in Avengers, and then in Jurassic Park you can go straight to whatever Escape Nublar. So
is that available yet?
Well,
on
I don't,
Godzilla?
unless I
Not
misread. You guys both have it up, but unless I've misread, I'm not. I
didn't
still
see
haven't
anything.
seen the ability to skip directly to something. So that means I bet there will be something, but that's cool that they've obviously put in all this time and energy into some of these crazy wizard modes, and now to bring them into the game, but not just handed to you, but now in the game in kind of a more accessible way for a player like myself. That's pretty slick. I think that's really creative. To Keith and what's his coder's name? I feel bad. Crap. Rick Nagel, right? Yeah. Props to them for thinking that through.
I should have said
So-
Bill.
I was about to
Yeah,
say,
Bill,
this
yeah.
is your chance.
Billy boy, that code is so good. Yeah. No,
So I guess then since they updated everything, that means maybe some of the games got, well, I assume since they updated everything basically just got like a firmware update, but then
Yeah.
some of the games did get
Yeah.
code updates.
so Foo Fighters has more code. Bond 60th has more code.
what
Or they've
about
done some
Bond?
tweaks. Bond, I don't
Bond
know.
itself.
Bond is now 0.90. So I think
Okay,
there's
so
new
they
code
did
there.
add stuff.
I
to
checked
it. Okay.
Turtles. Turtles was nothing new. And then Deadpool was nothing new. That I checked. But 19 games. There's 19 games. So I mean, Tom has all of them. So I don't know. Let's
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Tom, you have another new game. Godfather, man. Godfather is in the house. You have it.
Samore.
Thoughts on Godfather? You've had it. You've played it. It's yours.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's why I bought it.
So comparing it to, I mean, I was standing right next to you when you were playing it in TPF.
Yeah.
What's the home experience? How like? Yeah.
I'm
now that you can really dive
starting to learn how to play the game, like the rules.
in. Okay.
Where at TPF, I had no idea what I was doing. I'm like, oh, I'm shooting this and it's starting. It's like, no, that's not actually what's happening.
Yeah. And is there, like, I know Carl is already just tearing it apart and
Yeah,
getting,
I can't.
you know,
I can't.
crazy,
I'm
stupid
not-
billions.
I'm not doing that stuff yet.
But that's just the
But
way
that's
mine
Carl.
works.
I
Obviously. That's
can't do
Carl.
that.
Yeah. So he's going and finding, well, let me do this plus this and do it in this order, and boom, 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 bang, and then boom, 32 billion points. So
I have not. What's the word for it?
Have you
the
crashed your
yet.
game?
I have not crashed the game yet.
Has Neil crashed the game yet?
No, he hasn't.
Neil nearly like beat the game, didn't he, at TPF? Or he
Yeah.
did something
He
on
almost
it.
got through the whole window on the bottom. And
Okay.
like I think we alluded to this on the last podcast, but the lady behind us was legitimately
she was not
pissed.
happy. Yeah.
She's like, "Get off the game, kid."
she had I think she had like a broken arm at the time, and she, you know, thank God, because she probably
Maybe,
would have started
maybe
swinging.
there's a reason
Yeah.
for that.
Did
Yeah.
she have like a little like shopping bag
Did
with
she
her?
have the sling or the?
Does
was
she have
it-
a dog with her?
No, she didn't have a
No.
dog.
Does she even know she was at a pinball convention? Like,
Yeah, but I understand why she would say it. I was actually listening to another podcast, and that's what the guy said. You know, like, hey, if you're at a show, good on you to be able to blow up the game. But if there's people waiting behind you, maybe you only play ball. I mean, Neil did say he was he did say,
to
"Hey,
the losers
should
go
I
the spoils."
No, you paid your entry fee. You got just as much right to stay on the game for as long as you
starting like
want.
a 2, 3, 4 player game and being
That's
a
a no-no.
single player.
Yeah.
That person deserves a kick in the nuts. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Or if you restart a game, after, and then you start playing
if
another.
Nobody's behind you, feel free. But if people are waiting, don't do that crap.
But to Neil's defense, I told him no. I was like, he's about to I wanted to see it.
You gotta do this, Neil. Crash the game.
He had 2 more windows to go, and I was like, I want to see this wizard mode. I want to see what's coming up. So I was,
because even he was like, should I end? And we're like, no.
Like, no,
so
son,
it's our fault.
You take her soul right now.
Or it's another open.
You just keep going.
I'm like, go over there.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I want to play this one.
It's her own fault. I don't know why she didn't know that was the Neil Graf. You don't, I don't queue up behind. Right. I don't even queue up behind Neil in an actual tournament. So shame on that lady. She should have known.
It was cool. So you have it though, and now that you're actually starting, what would you say? I mean, you have GNR, I think, still, and
no GNR. I actually traded towards Godfather.
Nice. Well, code-wise, I mean, GNR, once you really start to wrap your mind around all the different patches and different things you can do, it's actually can be a pretty complex game. Do you feel like this game is, I don't know, deeper?
I think it's deep, but it's not super deep.
Okay.
Like, I think stuff is achievable in the game. I just haven't done it yet. But I don't think it's like the deepest Jersey Jack game, but saying that, I really like the rules. I like it better in Guns N' Roses. It is like a mishmash of some of the rules from other games, a little bit, like the cash outs on Guns N' Roses. There is a lot of multi-ball, but I mean,
that's kind of par for the course at this point, right?
I mean, that doesn't really bother me. I mean, I could certainly try to turn off all the ball save, and it would be a hard game.
Oh, it seems fast. But now I know at TPF, a lot of people, myself included, our complaints were because there's so many diverters, you really don't know where the ball's going to go a lot.
Yeah,
but now that you've played it, I'm assuming you're starting to understand. What's
exactly.
Going on.
Yeah. And honestly, that's how Twilight Zone was the first time I ever played it.
Oh.
When I walked up to Twilight Zone the first time, I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on here. The ball's shooting out over there, and there's magnet grabbing it now, and what the hell's going on?
And you loved it.
No, I didn't love it at first.
Ooh.
But I did love it a couple months later.
Well, good. Well,
before I owned one.
Props to JJP for announcing a game, having a bunch built. They've done that. They did it with Toy Story as well, like immediately shipping games. And I mean, for you
Where's my Foo Fighters?
Because you didn't place your order.
Where's my Foo Fighters?
It's coming.
Oh.
You did not place your order for Godfather until after TPF. So I mean, you got it really pretty quick, and I think there's some distributors that have them like in stock already, ready to go. So that's pretty cool. That's really, really cool. I don't know, Travis, have you haven't played any more? You have? Oh, he's shaking his head. Do you want to talk about that?
I mean, no.
Any thoughts?
It's a fun game. It's on location here in the St. Louis area, and I mean the only downfall of it is it's $2 coin drop. So,
oh no,
I mean, it's weird though. Obviously, the percentage of that compared to how much the game's actually worth, like it's really low. But yeah, that's kind of like a mental hurdle too, because you're like, oh, there goes 8 quarters. Okay,
you think $2 is a lot? Zach McCarthy told me that there's a Bond 60th for $4 a play.
Yeah, but that's in Colorado. Everything's like $1,000 more.
And that game's hard.
Yeah, I don't know.
Blow through $4.
So it's hilarious though. It's kind of like I was having this discussion with somebody, and it's kind of getting off, but I won't go too deep in the weeds here. But it's just like, at what point is coin drop too much? Like, You know what I mean?
$4 a game is a little steep.
Yeah, four is insane. Like $1, that feels right. I feel okay.
Yeah.
But putting $1 into a game with no chance of replays, I feel just fine about that because it is what it is. I might get $10, $20 worth of excitement for the whole family and everything. Like it just is what it is. But the $2, I don't know. It felt.
I mean, I like the
felt a
2
little
for
bit.
3, like
Yeah,
$2
2 for 3 is
for
awesome.
games.
I do
That's
that
really
one.
good.
I like that one. I like doing the 2 for 3 playing, and then if there's any replays, just leave them and just
Would you,
tell somebody, hey, do you want to play this? And
if it's a $2 play, would you feel better if it was 5 for 3, like $5 for 3 plays?
I would do that. I would do that because then math checks out. I'm saving $1, Joel, and then I'll go to 7-Eleven and I'll get a big gulp.
And then it'll just
Big
keep
gulp,
getting matches and play all night.
Well,
Yeah,
see
there you
later.
go. I remember the days when I played Godfather at the bar and just paid $2 and just used my replays the whole time just to keep going.
People thought you were so cool. And then you got home
I was
and
a
your daughters
pinball
were waiting
wizard.
for
I couldn't
you.
believe it.
Yeah. Your daughters were waiting for you at the foot of the stairs saying, hey, Dad,
Where's Toy Story?
where's Toy Story?
But anyhow, the game's fun
Like
though.
The Shining.
Go sit on the couch, Dad.
So here's the weird part though. Like so Monica played it a couple times too, and she's just like, yeah, I don't want to pay $2 anymore. So it was one of those weird things that I was almost like, is it worth just buying the game and holding on to it for 2 months and just playing the hell out of it and then reselling it? And we probably come out on top technically because we'll play like a lot more than what, $2 per. Like I was trying to do the math in my head.
Your
which
twins
is-
would love it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely definitely for 6-year-olds. But that's really weird when you start doing the math and you're just like, yeah, I need to buy this $12,000 toy to save
To
$2 here. Yeah, so it's just weird. But I don't know. I mean, I'll play it every now and again, but I think it's tough too because the rules, until you actually grasp what's going on, there's just so much going on that I felt like I was just putting $2 in for a slot machine and hoping for the best. But it was fun though.
Yeah.
Like I'm genuinely
It shoots
interested.
very well.
Yeah, it shoots great. And even though it is multi-ball heavy, this layout makes sense, at least with multi-ball. Whereas I felt like GNR, it just didn't felt like it meshed. But this does. Like I don't feel like it's overwhelming in that sense. And so yeah, I had fun with it. But it was unique because that at the time, and it probably still holds true to right now, that Godfather was next to, I think it was GTF, which was next to Foo Fighters. So I basically saw all 3 of those. And then they did have a Scooby Doo at this location also, but the Scooby Doo was already gone. I think it was only that, it was not there anymore. So
Any idea why?
Probably wasn't working. I'm just speculating.
I have no idea. I just know it was not there. But that being said, I've known other places that have it, and they said, yeah, it earns really well. Or since it's Scooby Doo, but at this particular place, it was not there.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you played Scooby Doo since TPF, Tom?
I didn't even play it at TPF.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. I know there's been a code update for that, but yeah. I don't know where we're at. I don't know
Can
where
you
we're at
see
with
the
Scooby-Doo.
scores during a multiplayer game yet?
Well, that was
Can
the
you
other
go?
thing. That was the other thing too. I got contacted by somebody who's like, yeah, we had it at our, I guess, launch party. And then when the game finished, we realized we had no idea what everybody took because the scores, and I got to
The scores
see
don't
it.
show at the end.
Yeah, the scores showed at the end.
Okay.
And then when it starts scrolling, it never came back to them. And they had no way to bring
you
the
can't
scores
hit
up.
the flippers or do anything to bring it back.
Like
You don't-
it was just gone.
They can fix that, but it's unfortunate that it made
Yeah,
it
that's-
past.
You
Yeah,
don't play
Yeah.
pinball for scores.
I don't.
We know.
Obviously.
But if I went to a tournament, I would be. Yes,
I've
yes.
scored 800 points on this Bond 60. I was just
Yeah, it was great.
ripping it.
With my brother. Go up. Yep.
But no, so I play GTF.
Good thing Stern put the reels on your Bond 60s for you.
Yeah, I don't know why the big deal. 4 digits is plenty. I'm good with that. That's plenty. Yep. You were saying GTF. You've
GTF.
played it more.
I was saying GTF.
Yeah, go for it. Tell us all. You're getting one, yes?
No.
Wait, what? Did you have a you have a soundboard?
That's him.
Yeah,
that's
that's
Tom
he's
talking.
But you can change your voice?
Yes, Joel.
When what you've had this power the whole time? You interrupted me with an air horn the other day, and you could have just come in with this God voice. Just I don't know. He's trying to. Yeah, we'll save it. That's pretty great. Is there another side of that? Is there a high voice?
Try
this. Robot. Got it.
Joel, you are sexy.
Yep. You are. Ooh, thank you. Ooh, geez. Okay.
You should have been the voice for GTF. That makes sense.
He's ready.
So yeah, GTF is still GTF.
GTF.
I don't know what else to say about that. It's just I played it a couple of games and
did you have so the games that we played at TPF, those games were played pretty much nonstop for 3 days. And what we experienced, I was standing right next to you, you hit those stand-up targets in front of the tank, and the ball jumps over your flippers. Did you experience that again on location?
I know what you're setting me up here for, Joel.
No, it's a genuine question. Did
I experience it again? No.
It's like a lab.
Okay,
I
good.
did not. Nope, I did not. I had no air balls over my flippers at all.
Okay. So did you see anything? Were the stand-up targets changed, or because they said there's a fix? They're doing something?
No, they were jacked up. I just never aimed for it the whole game.
So you didn't have any air balls because you never hit the target.
I never aimed at it. So no, I think I sent you guys the picture. I don't know. It just, so I wanted to give it a chance because obviously we played it at TPF and I was like, okay, you're playing roulette, whether the games are going to be set up great or not, or, dialed in. And I saw that this particular game was advertised as just being set up the day before. So Monica was like, hey, let's go have a date. Let's go, play pinball, go hang out, have a beer, whatever. Get there. And I'm like, I'm going to play GTF first and I'm just going to get straight into it. So I played it as soon as it opened up because there was a couple other people and I decided to inspect the targets and I wanted to see what it looked like. And legitimately none of them were aligned. One was like already up, like front, just kind of like hanging down. Another one was just kind of split. And so I was just like, man, I can't aim for it. I just played it, never hit it once, except for maybe like in multi-ball a couple of times. But even then I never aimed for it at all. And I mean, my score still went like over 200, 250. So, I mean, you can get points without touching that at all. Did you have any flipper weakness issue? Like that's something we were, there's one ramp in the game. It's the left ramp. And it got to the point where you couldn't even make the shot. The right flipper was pretty soggy. It was. And I had a few times that the ball just like would not get caught by the magnet at the left orbit. Yeah. So it's a diverter to get up the VUC is a magnet. And yeah. And there was a few times, even though the shot wasn't really strong, the ball still just went right past it when it was supposed to catch it. So, I don't know. I was surprised by the experience because I will say I did have a Hot Wheels before at my house, and that thing was built like a tank. Really well, like no pun intended. It was built like a tank, and then they built a game that literally tries to look like a tank, and it doesn't feel like a tank. So I don't. You can only have one. You'll have tank. Yeah, it either looks like a tank or it's built like a tank. You pick one. I was just surprised, and I don't know. I mean, I'm still interested in the game itself because I think the theme is so goofy, and I think that's a good thing for pinball. I think you do need lightheartedness. I think you need to have goofy. I don't mind that at all. The design is what it is. I mean, it's like anything else. We all know this. If you put targets that are up close to the flipper, it's going to be dangerous. And if you put it smack dab in the middle of the playfield, like you're going to have issues. And we all knew that. Joel, as soon as we played our first game on it, we looked right at it and we were just like, this is going to be dangerous. And what happened? No more than like 5 seconds later, you could hear the ball hitting off the glass and it's in the trough. And so I just, that is what it is. And I don't know anything that could possibly prevent that other than putting a deflector up on top of that. And we've talked about that before, but even then it makes for a difficult game. And in terms of enjoyment when it comes to
So,
that. And the last thing you want is a major part of the playfield
Yeah.
to where you totally ignore it,
yeah,
especially if it's the middle.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because it's like the only time you ever hear, and Tom can vouch for this, that you hear, hey, don't touch the middle, don't do anything like that. It's in competitive settings,
Yep.
right? Like Attack from Mars. You hear that all the time. Like, try not to go for the visor unless you're, doing a skill shot or something like that. And so this right here, it's just like, okay, you have something that's smack dab in the middle of the playfield that's close to the flippers, and you hit it, you're
ignore it. Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing. I just think, to me, it's a design flaw if you have to purposely ignore something completely because of how dangerous the shot is. I mean, it's
Well-
one thing to ignore something because it's just not valuable at that time, but to ignore something completely because not because of the difficulty, but just because it's just like it's total utter chaos. Like, I don't know.
I totally get you. I mean, I'm not a pinball designer, so I probably shouldn't talk. But I would assume, don't make a mech that when you hit almost guarantees a drain, and don't make a mech that you only get to experience way deep in the code. I mean, that's something that, if you have an upper play field, but you have to qualify or do this, and the other before you can get up to it, like, don't do that, because you're going to have a novice step up, and that's all they want to do is experience the upper play field, and they don't know how to get to it. Don't do same thing with like lower play fields or any sort of mech. Make sure that you can make that somewhat approachable or accessible for anybody. Even if it's just like the Duke Kaboom ramp in Toy Story. The first time you hit the left ramp, it pops up and you have a chance to hit it. Now, once you hit it once, then you have to do something to qualify it to be able to hit it again. I love it. Love that. That way anybody can step up to the game and experience that mech. But then it's not all in your face over and over again. But I don't know. I'm with you. That I don't like. I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't know how American Pinball can save GTF. Like, when Houdini had flipper issues, they found out it was like a power supply. So what did they do? They sent power supplies out to previous owners. I mean, I do think if they find issues with the flippers, or if there's going to be some sort of fix so that the targets don't bend backwards, I do trust that they will provide some sort of solution to keep the ball down. So at least you have a fighting chance to save the ball with your flippers.
I think they already came out and said it's
Apparently they have
fixed.
2. Yeah, they have,
Yeah.
but they're not out yet. So maybe it will come out. But I still just think it's unfortunate that you have this really cool thing that honestly you have to avoid. And then on the other side of it is the stream. The stream that Jack and the American guys did. You have American Pinball employees telling the audience, don't hit the tank. And it's like, okay, so it's this is supposed to be a big selling point of your game, and you're telling people ignore it, don't do it, just don't do it. And they're doing it. They're avoiding the whole stream. They're avoiding the tank. And it's just, I don't know.
I mean, what you're saying is valid, though. I mean, and you don't have to be a designer to know what you like whenever you're playing pinball. I think everybody out there that's listening, or anybody that plays pinball, their opinion is just as valid on it, because everybody knows what's fun for them as an individual, and different people have different taste in game. I'm sure that there's tons of people out there that do legitimately enjoy GTF. I'm sure they are out there.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't think you have to be great at designing games, or even know how to design a game to know what you like in a mech and what feels enjoyable. And the last thing you want to do is have something, and we're getting into design theory here, but the last thing you want in a game is to have something that's the easy shot to hit, but yet is the shot that will punish you the most, because that is a recipe for disaster for new players and for young players. And that could lead to a lot of frustration, because pinball already, it's difficult for a lot of people that are brand new to it. And if you have for instance, there's GTF next to Godfather, right? And it looked totally different. Like, they looked on 2 different levels. And yet with Godfather, even if you didn't know what was going on, you still knew that you had to hit the Tommy gun guy or whoever that is in the very back. And you could tell, what you were doing hitting that. And the same with Foo Fighters, right? You could see the ramps and everything. You could see the Overlord. You could see what the shots were doing. And so that was the thing. You weren't necessarily getting punished for shots that are fun shots.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference. And for a lot of people, when you talk about games and money that they're going to spend to bring a game in, you want a game that's just fun to play over and over and over again.
Well, thinking of Center Mechs, like I know when I first had Stranger Things, like I knew those drop targets in the Demogorgon were death. Like this is Tom his game the duck sound, his game updated. The Godzilla, nice. Sorry. The Demogorgon was death. But the more that I think about it, when you plunge the ball, it's going to pretty much guaranteed hit one of the drop targets down. And so as a novice, if you're lucky and you happen to get the ball through where the one drop target you already hit down, you could pop that ball back, and that's all you have to do. You only have to get past it one time for it to drop that ramp. And now a novice gets to experience bashing the Demogorgon. So it's a brutal mech, but it should be accessible enough for a novice to experience bashing the Demogorgon, and then they know to avoid it. Like, or hopefully they like that's I don't know. That's
just to do whatever they want to with it. Yeah.
So we've talked about this, that if the tank, instead of it being stand-ups, would have been like 2 stand-ups and a drop target where you drop it down and then the ball feeds into the tank and either comes in a subway or is delivered back to you in some sort of a safe manner, that mech could have been so much more like usable. But the fact that it's always stand-up targets and that ball's going to come back at you at an accelerated rate, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. But so Tom, you're buying a GTF, yeah? Oh, I just thought you just love brutal games, and what's one more, right?
It's true, I do.
Well, Tom can speak to this because I know in your collection, Tom, you have a Godzilla, you have a Stranger Things still.
Yep.
Right.
Yes, sir.
You have an Attack from Mars. You still have a Medieval Madness.
No, I got rid of that.
Okay, so at least 3 of those, and you had a Medieval Madness for a while. So you
for
have
a long time,
right? So you have all the major games that have things up the middle that can be fun. So I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Because you have more experience than anybody else on this podcast, obviously, with something up the middle like that compared to GTF. I mean, what's your overall thoughts on something like that?
All those games don't have it fixed right in the middle of the frickin' playfield. I mean, GTF has the tank is right there in the middle. And, the games
close.
you mentioned, like Stranger Things, Medieval Madness, Attack from Mars, are all in the back. So, it just kind of, I don't know, to me, it's like having a roadblock in the middle of the playfield. And I look at a game like Iron Man, and the monger, pops up and down. So yeah, that's in the middle, but it's not a constant thing.
Yeah.
Same with Led Zeppelin, the premium. You have that spinner thing.
But you could shoot through it. You could go.
You can shoot through it.
Yeah.
That's true, and you can make the ramp. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't want to say it's a poor design, but it's not the best. I mean, I don't want to knock the game, but to me, like Joel was saying, they should have did something a little different with it. And I just think it's, you're trying to avoid something that's the main centerpiece of the game. That seems odd to me. Extremely strange.
I wish they could have did something kind of like mousing around. If they're going to have that there, maybe have some kind of quick turnaround 180 ramp.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Well, I think Joel had a great idea, like having a drop target and then popping the ball through.
Well, I think that's what we all assumed it would be when we all start hearing that there's going to be something in the middle of the playfield that's like a tank. Like I had it in my head, like maybe it has something that drops down and it feeds into the tank, and then it's like a ball lock or something.
I'm trying to think of a game that actually has something that's like stagnant right in the middle that you got to go around.
Black Knight Sword of
GTF,
Rage.
that's what
GTF, yeah. Black
Yeah.
Knight has, it has a shield, so the ball's going to come back, but you hit it enough, then it can go past it.
Yeah, but
safely,
that
or it has
game
the
though
flail.
too. That's like part of the lore of Black Knight.
But that's just
It's
one
fighting
little
you back,
shot.
yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
taking
Yeah.
up like
It does
the
take up a lot.
entire
A lot of
middle
real
of the
estate.
playfield.
It's because it's so close. If it was the exact same mech and it was, instead of halfway in the playfield, it was back in the back a little bit further, it would be better. If it was slightly off to the back
even
right
like
or back left,
off-centered.
yeah,
It's
anything.
like if it's smack dab in the middle, it's just in your face all the
So-
time. And
TNA
No.
has 3 stand-up targets dead center of the game, pretty close to the flipper, but they're angled.
they're angled. Yep.
So it helps a little. It still can be brutal, and you have to be smart when you're aiming for it. But that's not, when I step up to TNA, nobody's going like, I can't wait to hit those three targets right there. But you're telling me with GTF, you have a robot hidden inside the thing. Any novice is going to want to see him pop up. I don't know. It's
I think what's disappointing is there's a lot of potential there.
there is.
And the last thing you want is to just have a lot of potential. Like you never truly cash it in. And I don't know how this game can ever truly cash in its potential, because the art package, fantastic,
good.
like
So
chef's
good.
kiss, right? The sounds, like, it's weird. Like, don't get me wrong, it's weird that the dubstep or whatever it is part of just what this is, all things considered. But the sound still, though,
Yeah.
like, I like the idea of that soundtrack. I like the idea of something that's just off the wall, right? And I genuinely love, like we joked about last podcast, but the fact that it's so off the wall with tanks in space.
Yeah.
It's like it's a B. It reminds me of like a B horror movie. Where you're just gonna like watch something. It's just gonna be a grand old time, and you're just gonna be along for the ride. So
It's absurd. Yeah.
yeah, and it's just like, I wonder what this game would have been if those middle targets weren't there. If everything else was the same and that just wasn't there, and it's just some type of return to where maybe even it's like a whodunit double return.
Like I
something
said, I
like
think it
that,
would have been
like-
great if it disappeared under the playfield somehow and then popped up.
Yeah,
And then you
Or
had
like
to
the
hit the
mo- the
tank, and then
monger,
it went
yeah.
away, and then you had other things to do. I mean,
shit, that would have been a great idea. Yeah, if that mech acted more like the Monger does
Yeah.
on Iron Man, I think we're all having an entirely different conversation about this game.
I agree. I'm
I
trying
don't
to
know.
think, like, I'm
Yeah.
trying to, in my head, look at different games like Godzilla. Like, let's say,
Yeah.
like, Mecha Godzilla was right in the middle. How would you feel about that? Or like the building was right in the middle. Or, I have X-Men way down there. What if
Magneto was-
Wolverine was
yeah.
right in the middle? It's just all these things. It's like, it just really, I don't want to say like it's a flow killer, I guess.
Yeah, it stands out so much that it kind of overtakes everything else. Like, it overshadows a lot of stuff. So the Vuck up into the lock, that's a pretty cool like mech to see it happen when that magnet
But
does
it's
work
hidden way
there.
back there. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's still cool. Like, to me, it's funny as hell, but it's goofy. We're all in on the joke when you see like the AP people come up and they're the pilots or whatever, or
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever it is. Like, that's fine. It's just, it makes me wonder if just those targets in the middle to a tank game is just, if it's the killer of the entire game. If it makes it to where, if that wasn't there, maybe this game would be a lot more enjoyable. I think it would be,
But even
personally.
even when Joel and I were playing it at TPF, like the first game we played, I was like intentionally just going for the tank. There
Oh,
was
yeah.
no points.
Yeah,
Like, it's your
that's-
main
yeah.
toy. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Well-
And maybe it might come along in code, but yeah, it
Yeah,
just
and
just
that's
felt like,
true.
They can
It could
fix
be
felt like there
bare
wasn't-
They can
bones
fix
code.
scoring. Yeah.
but they're gonna have to do something to make it worth your while to go after that.
I mean,
Because
I
you want
agree.
people hitting it, but
I think of Pulp Fiction or Taxi, very similar. You got those 3 drops dead center, but they're angled slightly. But it's not. I think Ironmonger is the best example. I think You're right. Because that's a toy that you obviously want to bash, and you're going to hit it and it's coming back at you. But it's not always in the way.
Like middle is fine. It can be done. It just needs to be done for the right reasons, and it needs to be done in such a way that's enjoyable, that it's not a hindrance to your overall experience on the game. And I think more times than not, I think most of us know that those targets on GTF feels like a hindrance at this point.
So Bond 60th has a spinning hat dead center of the game, but it's only one post, and
it goes back to a position.
It's always where it settles is in a safer spot. Like at least you know where it is. And if you brick because you hit that post and it comes flying back at you, that's on you. Like no bit of me feels like when I play Bond 60th that I'm avoiding the hat,
but it's a post, not 5 targets.
And that,
5 targets.
That was purposely designed to be like that too, as well, right?
It's pretty fun.
Yep. So there you go. I mean, that's the thing. You can still take these mechs and create them in such a way that it's fun, it's satisfying, it's not.
Oh, what was that? What game was that?
I think it was Godzilla again. It was Godzilla.
Travis looked like, you got a game hidden in your little room there.
I don't know.
Is it what? No.
I don't know. But I don't know. I hopefully I want to keep giving this game chances. Like I'm going to keep giving it chances as the code gets updated more and more. And I want to play a version of this game in which it's fixed, in which the targets are fixed.
I think we're all rooting for it. Like we all. I
want it to be a good game.
We're all these
really
games to be good. Yeah,
we were hyping GTF. We didn't know anything about it. We're just the concept of it was something to be pumped about, And why not have a crazy, awesome, unlicensed game that I'm all for ridiculous. That sounds great. And but it's unfortunate. I just think where we're at right now, just trying to be realistic. What can they do to make this better? I don't know. I don't have that answer, but I do trust that American Pinball is going to do everything they can to make it as good as possible.
It's got to be in the rules and the code at this point. I mean, you're not going to change the play field
or some sort of ball save, like do some sort of like attack phase where they give you a 5-second ball save where it's just like, this is the time to hit the tank, something like that. Like you earn, or it's a timing thing where it's like, okay, shoot now, because this is, if you lose the ball, boom, you get that 5-second ball save.
It's there right smack in the middle of the playfield. I want to hit the damn tank.
Yeah.
I want to see the robot. I want to beat the robot.
Yeah, I get you.
Oblivion.
That is kind of our nature, isn't it? Like you see something in the middle of the playfield, you're like,
I want to hit that.
Yeah, we're all like freaking monkeys seeing the obelisk or whatever that thing's called.
I was trying to think of is there a pinball game where you walk up to it and go, I want to avoid that? Like you're almost excited to avoid something.
GTF. That was the first time I ever felt that way. Whenever I played it, it was so weird. Like coining up and being like, looking at the targets. Yep, we're not aiming for that.
Well, what's funny though is the game that I just thought of though is the P3 module Drained, because it has a gobble hole dead center of the playfield. But part of me, I see that and I go, I don't want to hit that, but I kind of want to hit that. You're like, you're looking forward, because at least that's a satisfying. So to kill the vampires in that game, you have to hit the gobble hole. So it's like it hurts, but yet it's good. That's the only mech that I can think of that I'm excited to avoid, because I don't hit it. But what happens? Like, I don't know. This is just don't hit it. Just don't hit the tank.
Is it possible, fellas, that we might be overreacting to it? I mean, is that possible? Can we entertain that?
Not if you don't want to hit something.
Or is it that we are judging this game against all other games that have come out at basically the same time? Because you got Foo Fighters, it's turned out to be
really good.
Yeah, you got Godfather, which is a great recovery for after Toy Story.
It does make it tough. I mean, tougher.
Yeah, and that's what I noticed when I saw it next to Godfather and Foo Fighters. I was just like, okay, and people are going to walk up and they're going to see that, they're going to make the comparisons, and that's just the way it's going to be.
And Pulp Fiction too. Now Pulp Fiction has those drop targets in the middle.
Yep.
They're drop targets and there's a scoop behind it that you can put the ball in.
You technically only have to hit that dangerous shot once to drop it down to then hit your scoop.
Plus, the game cusses a lot, so that's
so that's cool.
That makes up
Foo
for
Fighters
it. Yeah.
cusses.
It does.
Yeah,
it's
Foo
awesome,
Fighters dropped an F-bomb the other day when
So-
you start, and it's like I started that. I was like, whoa, I gotta make sure I either turn that off when the kids are down here or just pay attention. Or else...
So what about this then? So this is like the big difference. You know, we're talking about GTF, how you don't want to necessarily aim for the middle because it's like just so damn dangerous, right?
But I want to.
I know.
But then on the other end of that spectrum, you got Scooby Doo, in which nothing's dangerous. You know, and so it's kind of like one of those things that it's interesting to me to see these different designs that come out and these different philosophies from different companies, that all these games at some point have gone through the Whitewood stage. And I'm genuinely curious to know like the decision making that goes into this and the type of players that they're having test these games as well. Because I have a hard time believing that GTF would be under the Whitewood phase and nobody would catch that. I know for a fact it has to be people realized what was going to happen. So I'm curious how that still went through and got produced, like how nothing about that got adjusted at all.
I don't know.
That's like the biggest question mark for me, because there's other parts of that game that are fun, like the left ramp. I think it's a fun left ramp to hit overall. It's fun seeing the magnet on the left orbit, like catch, go up the butt.
I liked locking the balls. On the
Yeah.
But
I mean, so there's still fun shots in it.
There are definitely like homebrews that I've played, and you realize you start shooting it, and then there you immediately experience some geometry things, like that shot's not the best, or I don't know.
You're
why
like,
they
I
put that
see
there.
why this is a homebrew.
Yeah, but it's a homebrew, and you realize
happens,
it's like one guy that he's designed what he thinks is good, and he knows how to shoot it. But you're like, if you had a team, I don't think, you'd probably like, that's why you have a place like Stern that has so many great designers. They're all sharing input with each other. And I just feel like American Pinball, Dennis Nordman has said he had this design for years.
Been around for a while.
So
we're all probably, I mean, I'll just say it. We're all probably experiencing the reason why this game, this certain design had not come out before.
Yeah.
Like we're all probably in real time experiencing it. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's not like it's going to be AP's last game or anything like that. They have other games coming out in the future. So, I mean, live and learn, I guess. Design is not easy. Pinball design is not easy at all.
And what I think is interesting, because just the concept of how do you, I mean, if you want to use me as the joke, that's fine. But how do you design a game that keeps me entertained, but also the two of you entertained? And that's, I think, you look at Godzilla and you look at Foo Fighters. Both of those have very unique layouts that are just fun to shoot, but they're also like very approachable. But I think where they go the extra mile, specifically Godzilla, is like, I remember when my dad was playing Godzilla, he's like, I don't know what I'm hitting, but every time I'm hitting a shot, it's reacting and it's making me feel like I'm doing something great. And he is actually progressing a bunch of different stuff all at once. And so I go to stream Godzilla with my brother, and it's like, hey, you're like one shot away from tank, or you're one shot away from bridge. Like, hey, just do these things. And so I think the code, they made a very approachable, accessible layout. But yet the other side of that is like Cactus Canyon. You guys both feel Cactus Canyon is too easy. So is that layout just too simple to keep your enjoyment? Like, even if the code was deeper, do you still feel that layout is just too like blah for you?
Well, what it is, I'm sure Tom can answer this too. I mean, when you get to a certain point in pinball and you've played enough pinball, your accuracy goes up. And when you're accurate, and layouts, you can pretty much just destroy. Like any top tier player will destroy a fan layout. I mean, you take, for instance, our Attack from Mars final game at Kleepen. I think like 3 of us had close to 10 billion points on the game. And this is a Stern Pro Circuit setup. So, I mean, that's just the reality of it, that when you have a fan layout, you just hit the shots and the ball's never out of control. That's the difference on it. So it can still be fun. Like something like that's still fun to jam on. But, I mean, what do you think, Tom?
It's the code that has to make that fun. A fan layout, right?
1,000%. 1,000%.
Yeah, I just think, like you were saying, the ramps are just a little too accessible and things like that for me. And you got really wide shots that are easy to hit, with the exception of maybe the scoop. But
Oh
everything,
yeah.
but everything else is really accessible on the game, and it just, to me, it's just, for me, it's not a good home game. But that's just me.
And I don't blame you, because I just think it's funny that Cactus Canyon is a game that every single person that I heard in pinball media was like, it's a simple game. It's a simple game that is kind of shallow. Like it's almost, people are warning you, like, you'll get bored. You'll get bored of the game.
Yeah.
And I will tell you though, I didn't get bored of the game. Like, I saw the end, but to me, the difficulty level of that game was, I genuinely felt like the wizard mode was attainable for me every single
Mhm.
time I played the game.
And that's good. I mean,
it was just a perfect fit for me and my skill level.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there's certain games that probably people don't want to own because they're way too hard.
yeah, like
Ninja
Turtles.
Ninja Turtles is a
Ninja-
prime example of
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Turtles
and
gets a lot of hate.
I really
for that.
like Ninja Turtles. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna sell mine because
yeah.
I
I
miss
like
mine. Yeah, I had the LE and I miss it. I mean, it's a punishing game, but it's
when
fun.
when I start blowing it up, I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, this is fun.
It's at my parents' house, and I play it every time I go over there. And I've played it enough, and I got those precision flippers, baby. That I can typically get to half shell challenge every single time I play, which is that's probably no big deal for you guys, but like that was when I first had the game. Like, I was nowhere near that, and now consistently completing modes, getting to half shell challenge, starting to get. Initially, I always thought Cowabunga, that final wizard mode, was just, there is no way. And even I thought Final Battle, getting through 8 modes to get to Final Battle, I thought would be near impossible for me to get to. But you keep chipping away at that, and I think one day I may be able to get to Final Battle. That may actually happen. But that's a game that the only reason I've gotten to that point is because I've played the heck out of it, because it's a theme I love. And if you don't love Turtles and you step up to that on an arcade, it's going to kick your butt. And you're probably not going to want to drop that $1 to play it again. You're going to want to go to something else. And I don't know. It's unfortunate because people are missing a great game.
That time mode, is that the
half shell challenge?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great mode.
I love it.
More games need to have stuff like that. I'm sorry.
I agree. That sped run.
Yeah.
Challenge.
Yeah.
Speed run. It's so good.
It's
sped run.
It's fun to do.
Sped
run.
I will tell you though, genuinely, one of the insider achievements for half shell challenge is, can you beat it in under 100 seconds? And that was a game.
Oh,
there are two things that I have to give Dwight credit for this, because there are two things that I genuinely was like grinding at every time I'd go over to my parents' house. And that was one of them. And I had gotten to under 150. So there's 200, 150, and then 100. And it was just, every time I went over there, it's like, I got to do it. And I finally did it. And like, doing that was one of the most satisfying things I've ever done in pinball. Like, that was the equivalent of some of these wizard modes that I've achieved. And I finally did it, getting under that. And then the other thing was upgrading all my turtles to level 4. Cause that's something that with Insider Connect, you carry into. So it's almost like a badge of honor in my mind. Like, I've done it. I've put in the work. I've put in the time that it takes to upgrade all your turtles. Cause level 4, getting them to level 4 is not easy. And so
the
it's
cool
nice.
part is though, the game totally changes. If you have a level 4 turtle, it's an entirely different experience. And I don't know if this is available, but I wish that there was something in there in the menu in which you could automatically play with fully leveled up turtles. Like, just soup them all up and enjoy it from the start button. Because I think that would be a total game changer, because it changes.
You can
the
do
game
it
completely.
So that's my only complaint right now is, so I have all my turtles leveled up. So every single time I log in and play a game, my turtles start at level 4, which is awesome. I love it. But there are certain things, like Ray Day has gotten to Final Battle or Cowabunga. And one of the ways you can do that is to get to the Neutrino Pizza Party mode, to get to Neutrino Pizza Party mode, what you have to do is you have to get through one level of training. So that's not bad when you're starting at level 1, because level 1 training is not that hard. And then you can get through to Neutrino Pizza Party. And if you do really well in Neutrino Pizza Party, it'll give you one of the requirements you need to get to Cowabunga. So he was getting the April hurry ups. That's the one that's probably the most of a grindy thing to do. So it was just like the hardest thing was just given to him. But now if I do it, getting through level 4 is a challenge. And that's just for me to qualify that. So it'd be really cool if there was a way, as somebody that has qualified them, to be able to decide, I want to play at level 1. The way you do it right now is it's a permanent thing. You tell it, I want to clear my levels, and you go back to level 1.
You could just put the game to competition mode, and then it'll start at level 1.
That would work. And or the other thing is I just play without being logged in. The problem is I want those achievements.
Yeah.
So
if you put it in competition, you can still use your Insider Connect, and then
can you get achievements in competition mode?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe that's the way to do it, because it's like if there's ever a chance that I actually get to Final Battle or Cowabunga, I better get that achievement. So it would be cool at this point. I would love it if there was a way to select, I want to play level 1 without permanently losing my levels. But it's, I don't know, it's just cool things like that I props to Dwight for coding that into his game. That carrying over levels, I think, is really cool. It really does change how the game plays. And then on top of that half shell challenge mode is awesome. So more of that stuff. Raymond, I know you're listening. Raymond, make it happen.
If only it was that, like, well, that goes back into it too, that hopefully the listening audience out there realizes how difficult it is to code games as well. Like, and so it's incredible that these options are in the games with co-op, with, getting the wizard modes up early, or even getting different types of game modes in. I mean, that's all pretty sweet. And
it's awesome.
all things considered, when people talk about the pricing and everything, it's like, go play a solid state game and see if you can get the same out of that playing. I mean, you might if you just enjoy ripping spinners all day long, but yeah, these games, they have a lot in them, and that does make replaying them over and over and over again a lot more fun.
100%. You don't want this expensive box of lights that we all have be stagnant, of just like, well, I know if I play it, I'm just going to see everything I see in the game. Like, you don't want the code to be so shallow that it's just boring, or, well, I beat it again. I'll play it again in 2 months.
And that goes into how the design is too. I mean, at the same time. So it just depends. Like, because think about it, you said the same thing with Cactus Canyon.
Yeah.
You feel like you can get to the wizard mode every game, and yet you keep coming back for more.
I do.
Something in that hits you.
Yeah.
And so that's the mark of a good game. If it does that for you, I mean, that's good. And there's no shots in there that you're avoiding. It's
because my lock is lit, and so am I. That's why I keep. I love it. I love that game. I really Cactus Canyon, I'm genuinely looking forward to buying. Like, I want to have that, and because there's also the hope of, like, I love it where it's at today, but there is new code coming, and to me that sounds great. Like, I'm looking forward, whatever they're adding, sign me up, because I already love where the game's at.
We got to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Are you ready, Joel?
Yep, I'm ready.
Assuming you're in a reality in which Bond 60th and Cactus Canyon are the same price, what game are you buying?
This is not a nice question. The answer is Cactus Canyon. I would buy Cactus Canyon.
I would buy Bond 60 straight up.
I know.
I haven't even played Bond 60.
Yeah, I know you would, but that game, what Bond 60th is, super appeals to you, because I understand it's a callback to everything great about older games, retro games. It's a fast game. It's a hard game.
So why would you get Cactus Canyon? Oh, like, what does Cactus Canyon have that Bond 60 doesn't? That ticks that box for you? Is it the cowboy? You prefer cowboys than British spies? Is that what it is?
Like, the bashing Bart and seeing his hat go up is cool. But to be honest, I love the quick draw, the targets popping up, and it's quick. It's just immediate. I got to hit that thing, and it's satisfying every time I hit it. I like the humor in the game. I genuinely like the humor in the game. Like, that's one of the reasons I like Deadpool. That's why I like Godzilla, because of how campy it is. And it's just, it's just fun. Like, it's just fun. And I also, it's a game that my friends and family also find fun. And that's something that I know what Bond 60th has is the brutality and the point chasing and that depth, which I can appreciate because I like code. But you put a novice in front of Bond 60th, they don't know that.
Well, yeah. So I got to go the other way with it because I know Tom loves his Bond 60, and he would push Cactus Canyon out in traffic. So Tom, if they were priced exactly the same, which one would you get and why?
Bond 60th, because I would push Cactus Canyon into traffic.
Well, what a silly question. He paid $20,000 for a game.
I did not pay for
it. I know. But
we gave it to him.
Yeah. He already made that choice.
We paid him.
Yeah. Clearly, he picked Bond 60th over.
What about Bond 60? Basically checks all the boxes for you over something like Cactus Canyon.
Replayability? No.
It's not hard enough.
Yeah, Cactus Canyon isn't hard enough.
Okay, then let's pick another game then, because I'm curious, because this is what fascinates me in conversations with people and figuring out what they like, what they're into. So, like,
well, I like all the drops and the loops and spinners and all that. Like, it's just kinetic flow, I guess.
Is it fair to say, like, what about Bond 60th versus Godzilla?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually a great question. What do you like about Bond 60 better than Godzilla? I mean, you may still like Godzilla better, but what do you like about Bond 60?
Do you like Godzilla better?
The game's a lot faster when I play
it. Like, if you could buy both, you could buy your Godzilla LE or your Bond 60th for
like, if
$15K.
I had to choose between the two, what would I pick?
Let's say Bond 60, you could get that for like $3,000 less than Godzilla LE.
Okay.
Which one would you get? Knowing everything you know now, you have plenty of time on both games.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably pick Godzilla just because of the depth of it and everything, but yeah.
What about Bond 60th? What if Bond 60th and a Pulp Fiction LE were the same price? Which would you pick? Because I think Pulp Fiction has more.
That's a good question. I like that one.
I think it has more toys, and I think it has more depth.
I'd probably go Pulp Fiction.
Ooh.
Just because I like the theme a little better.
Cursing. Yeah.
So is Pulp Fiction actually a single level game?
I think so.
I would still say it is. Oh, because of the subway? Are you saying
subway?
Oh,
there you go. Yeah.
Because it doesn't have a ramp, but it's
got the wire form in the back.
They snuck something past Quentin Tarantino, didn't they?
He didn't lift the playfield. No,
he gets his game. Those sons of.
I think it's interesting though. Like, I am the longer I've been in this hobby, I've started to really value the variety in pinball and wanting to have different things. Like, I don't want to have just 4 modern Sterns. I want to have variety, and that's where, like, that's one of the reasons I love TNA, because I think TNA feels different. But now I feel like there are options like that, like Bond 60th, Pulp Fiction. You get these fast, more simplistic games, but still have a lot to them.
Yeah. And I think it's good to have some variety too,
Yeah.
Because some days I want quick games. So I'm going to go play, Flash Gordon and Frontier. And other days I'm like, you know what? I want to grind out Godzilla and see if I can get to Planet X. So it's just, different strokes for different folks.
That's why pinball's so great. That's so
it.
Great. Yeah.
It is. It is cool too when you really look at this, guys. There's multiple games now that are modern games that are just single level for the most part. So Joel kind of touched on this, and Tom, maybe you got there quicker since your pinball stuff, or all your pins expanded rapidly once you start buying pins. But you get to a point, and we've all hit this before. When you buy a couple pins, modern pins, all of a sudden you start seeing other pins from different eras and everything. But there's something about, like, I love the old school stuff, the solid states and all that, but there's something about a modern game that's like that, yet it's modern. So like Beatles and 007 60th and TNA and just games like that. So I'm very curious to see where pinball goes in the next 5 years. If there's going to be more manufacturers trying to kind of touch on this because there will be people that want to see that. It's obvious that that's happening because otherwise Pulp Fiction wouldn't do what it's doing. You know, when you mix in the right theme with something like that, I think you have something special with that.
This is a good segue
Oh,
for Punny Factory.
oh no! Here we are. I look at the time.
Tom.
We have like 10 minutes to. I was like, we're approaching the 2-hour mark.
I gotta play my EM, guys.
On here. Yeah.
Let's talk about Punny Factory.
Well, just one last thought was that's one more reason why I really like the CGC remakes, because it reminds me of an older Bally Williams game, but it actually feels modern because of the light show, because of the expanded DMD. Like that's to me, I don't feel like I'm just putting an old game in my lineup. I actually feel like I'm putting a modern game, but it has that simplicity and the approachability of some of those older ones. So I don't know, I'm all in, but Punny Factory. Yeah.
What'd you think of the trailer, Joel?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
No, I mean, we talked about this the other night on Flipping Out with Friends, and it's just one of those things where if the price was $3,000 or something, then okay.
Oh, it's not $3,000.
I know it's not. But even
$3,000.
It's the same price.
That's
It's the
like
same
under
price.
a Stern Pin.
It's the same price though as a Stern Pro, and it's just hard for me to sit there. And it's like, what are they bragging about? They're bragging about, you know, a full size back glass. They're bragging about Canadian wood. They're bragging about inside interior art blades that go all the way down.
Is it a brag or a selling point?
I was watching the trailer and literally getting a migraine because they kept going back and forth and zooming in and out of stuff, and I was like, I can't even see anything.
But I'm just saying, as somebody, if you were new to the hobby but you're sitting there and it's like, okay, I got $7,000 to spend on a pin. Like, why would you pick? And I don't mean this in a mean way, but like, I just don't know why you would pick Punny Factory.
Yeah, I get
over, you know, any Stern
Foo
Pro.
Fighters.
You can get a used Cactus Canyon for under $7,000. Like, there's so many other games that like, well, so what is it? And I don't know, like, I know plenty of people that love dad jokes, myself included, but I've never, like, Punny Factory is not a theme that you can, in my mind, that you would be like, I'm ready to spend $7,000 on that. And it's like, is there something unique? Like, I probably shouldn't bring it up, like Deep Root, at least Deep Root's playfield, their cabinet looked unique. The pin bar looked unique. They were bringing something unique and original that people are like, well, that seems pretty slick. No. Punny Factory, I'm looking at that. It's like, what are you bringing to the table that stands out? It doesn't look like a tank, like Galactic Tank Force. It just, what about that game justifies trying it out for $7,000? And it's not, I'm not seeing revolutionary playfield design. I don't know. I want more pinball, and I want them to be successful. My takeaway from Punny Factory is I hope people, there's an update. I hope people buy it that just have the money to do it, just because I hope this is their worst game. I hope this is enough for them to establish themselves as a manufacturer so that they can continue to improve on what they're doing and make good pinball.
Is Zach going to get you a Punny Factory?
No, I don't. No, I don't know. No, I just, but to me, this is just, it's, you know, it's not like it's a new company that's coming out with just like, whoa, I'm ready to dive in on, look at the designer they got, look at the artwork, look at the, like, this theme or the license. Like, sure, I'll take a chance on that because I love that band or I love this license. Like Big Lebowski, you know, it's like people went all in on that because of what it was. This, though, it's like, it reminds me of Team Mafia, or that was a game. I think it's the same people that are building it.
There's a lot of stand-up targets.
There's so many, and they bragged about it. 16, like Haggis. So Haggis made Celts. There's very few people that were loving Celts. But what did Haggis bring? They brought that brand new playfield design. They brought a screen inside the playfield. Like, they brought unique things that people were willing to try. And then luckily they had enough success with Celts that they were able to go and now do what they're doing. And that's what I'm hoping Punny Factory is. They have enough success with this game that they can go further.
Yeah. Well, the hurdle right now is that if you are coming out with a pinball machine that does not have a licensed theme, you better be prepared to create the atmosphere
Yeah.
around it. So, for instance, like GTF, that's what makes people interested in it.
Yep.
They create the atmosphere around it. No matter how outlandish it is, they went all in on it on creating that atmosphere. And so that's what made TNA so great as well. It's a punishing game, but you know what? The atmosphere of it, the sounds and everything, and how, the bass drops and
The
everything.
beats,
So,
the beeps.
yeah, exactly. So, when I saw this trailer, I didn't get the sense of anything to do with atmosphere at all. I was confused. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know whether, they needed to recharge their potato that they were filming on. I was very confused. It's just, I don't know why they did that. And the reason why it's so confusing, because I don't doubt that hard work went in to
Yeah.
designing and to producing this pin. So it was just really confusing that the trailer would come out like that, because I can tell you, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other people saying the same thing, as somebody that is involved in selling pinball machines for a living, it's very difficult to get somebody to part ways with their money with thousands of dollars when that's what you have to show them for it. Whereas, like, we could turn around and show off, Pulp Fiction. Look at this trailer. Like, you put those together, like, you know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing. If you're gonna market something, you have to make it to where it keeps people's attention and it gets them hooked. And if you don't do that, then it's like your product's going to get written off so fast.
So this is, and I'm really not trying to be mean, but I just think
You keep saying that, Joel. Go hard in the paint.
So here, from
It's
a
tough
professional,
love.
I'm not in marketing, right? I'm not in marketing, but I watched this video, and like, they're the drop targets. The drop targets in this video, they zoom in on them. Like, one of the stickers was peeling up, like, and the other one was like bent over. And I'm like, don't zoom in on a drop target and show that your decals suck. Like, put new decals on it before you film this. Or the same thing with the back box. They show the board that they're using, and a bunch of wires on the right there's electrical tape on them. Like, they just spliced them in. So clearly they're still figuring that, like, and to be honest, even Stern isn't perfect at this. Stern has shown games where there's like spot welds on ramps, and it's probably a production game. Or
Stern had, if you look closely at the Mandalorian, there's an actual bug on the playfield during their trailer.
Okay.
I kid you not.
Or it shows, like dimples, on you're zooming in on these, and it's like, instead of having this pristine, perfect playfield that you're trying to sell, it's like, you got to be, these are things that people are seeing. Or I've seen it even in Stern, where it's like, or other, I don't know, it's other ones, but it's like, they'll do a slow-mo video of watching a ball, and you see a plastic like bouncing in the background, and it makes you wonder, is that screwed in all the way or whatnot? So, nobody's exempt to it, but these are things that I know we're all seeing. So if you're a manufacturer and you're trying to show them, this is what we're doing, we have high quality cabinets, we have this, we have that, like, you can't have that. You can't have a drop target with
it done professionally.
Yeah, you can't
what you need to do.
have a drop target with a decal that's coming off. Like the GTF trailer, it looked like the rubber that is between the flippers that comes up, it looked like it was a piece of paper that was a label on top of that wasn't cut out well. Like, little stuff like that, you can't, I don't know. You're trying to sell a product, and if that's the product you're going to ship out, okay, maybe that is a realistic expectation. But if your game has wear on it when you're filming the trailer for it, why would we not assume the brand new games are going to get the same amount of wear when we start playing them? I don't know. Just a thought. I'm not in marketing. I feel bad. Somebody made that video and was proud of it and sent it to their parents, and their parents told them they were proud of them.
No,
I'm not trying to take that away from you.
But you are a potential customer. Like, here's the reality of it. Even if none of us buy the pinball machine, we're all in pinball. We are all automatically potential customers.
Yeah.
And so therefore, any video that comes out from a pinball manufacturer deserves to be judged, because we are all the potential customers. So everybody is well within their rights to have any critique over something, because you either like the marketing or you don't. If you don't like the marketing, guess what? You're probably not going to buy the product, which means whoever made whatever video there is or whatever, they did not do their job. They have to explain
Yeah.
what the game is. They have to touch an emotion for why you need to be interested in this. Why does this product stand out above everything else in the industry? That's what has to be done. And it doesn't mean you have to do it to the tune of thousands of games. Sometimes you just have to do it to the tune of 50 to 100. But if you have a hard time even doing that, I mean, that's the thing. You got to get these things professionally done. You got to get the lighting.
We're in a good time for pinball, but we're also in a weird time for pinball because there's just too many games out right now.
It's
at the same time.
Yeah. It's awesome that there are tools out there that make building your own game easier. I'm not saying it's easy. That's far from that. But there are so many home brewers out there, which is so great. I love it. I love that there are people that are building their own games. But then you have all these companies. I think, what was it? Tilt Bob down in Florida. They're talking about, that's the guy that made Elf. They're saying they're going to start making their own games. Like, I love it. I love it that there's companies that are willing to do this. But you've got to realize it doesn't matter how small you are. We are going to compare you to Stern and JJP. Like, JJP's trailers are so good, and then they get Straight Down the Middle to come in and do these featurettes, and they get professional marketing teams to build these ridiculous trailers with fist pumping dads and little girls that are pumped playing Toy Story. I mean, they're going to have it, but that's what I'm sorry, but we're going to compare you to that. And the only way we wouldn't compare you to that is if your product is 1/8 of the cost of the big boys. But if you're coming in at the same cost as a Stern Pro, I can't give you a pass on your drop target label being ripped.
You're right, and well, and this goes into, because I'm sure there might be a few people out there that are thinking about manufacturing pinball, or they're involved. But yeah, it's so damn important to make sure that you get your initial launch correct, and that you get the attention that you want to get. That's correct, and it's positive. So if you put a trailer out, right, and one of the first things you do is turn off the comments, it's not a good sign. And I can almost guarantee, I can almost guarantee, as a matter of fact, I'll put any amount of money. I can almost guarantee that the Punny Factory comments are turned off. Because you don't put a video out like that without it,
Tom's
you would get crushed.
Tom's
you would
ready.
get crushed.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. So, and rightfully so. If you're going to come with prices like we talked about, that's very similar to competitors that are excellent at what they do, you are going to be judged by that measuring stick. You're not going to get a pass. It's the same. Spooky has gone through the same thing, to where they've been judged at the very same, and rightfully so, because they've earned the right to be judged too. That's what a lot of people forget. It's not just because of their pricing, but they've earned the right to be judged because Spooky's put in the time, and they put out a few good pinball machines. I mean, with Rick and Morty, with TNA, and Alice Cooper had its positives to it. So, I mean, that's the thing. You got to find a way that if nobody knows about you and you haven't built that loyal fan base, right, you can't get away with lackadaisical. You can't get away without any marketing that is just very precise and very geared towards who you want to purchase your product.
I totally agree with you. I think the one exception is if you have some crazy license, because there are people. Tom admitted, if Rush came out with one pop bumper, he would have bought it. Just, there are people that will pull. They will go all in on. They don't care who makes it.
But here's
they're going to
pop bumper.
Here's the difference, though. License, they cost money.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to pay that money for a license, you've got to be willing to shell out to let people know, hey, here's why you need to buy this.
Yeah.
Because here's the problem. You will get the people up front to purchase based off theme alone. But after that, like, do you have your longevity afterwards?
Well, you bring in manufacturing. I mean, you look at Halloween, like they sold out day one because of the license and what it was and blah, blah, blah. And then once games started coming out and people started running into issues, people are flipping spots and selling them for a loss. So there's no guarantee, even if you sell all your games.
At the same time, though, that means that they did sell all their games. You know what I mean? So that's a little bit different situation. But when we're talking about somebody that doesn't have the ability to sell several hundred games, right? They don't have the ability to manufacture several hundred games. It's like, okay, you got to find a way to get the line going. So I think that you rightfully, if you don't have a licensed theme and your product, your design isn't going to be A or S tier level, it's just not going to be. It's very difficult to do. You've got to find a way to get people's attention and to get the right attention. And
Well,
I don't, watching this trailer, there's no way that they got the right attention.
what I think is interesting is the most unique thing that I saw on this game, Punny Factory, is the speakers. If you look at the back box, it looks like because it's a full back glass, the speakers actually come out of the edge of the back box. So it looks like they've routed that through, and the speakers are actually mounted to the side. So the like that actually looks unique. They don't mention it once. So to me, it's like, if they're not mentioning it, is it not an audio improvement? You know, like I know Deep Root once again was like, you know, it's like 7-point surround system. Like they had, remember they had speakers in the coin area, and they're like, oh, you have crotch level speakers. Like, what's the point? But at least they're like, okay, this is unique. Maybe this would actually be a unique. But I don't know.
I have to look now at this YouTube video.
If
I gotta find it.
Are the comments turned off? But
okay, so I'm looking at it right now. 1K views. It's pretty sweet. Somehow something's got to be off because it only has 8 likes after 1K. I don't know how that's. I don't know what happened. But
that was
yeah,
me. Comments are turned off.
Yeah, the comments are turned off. So there you go.
So like Elements, people have said that, like, well, Elements sounds a lot more interesting than Punny Factory. And it comes back to my original comment. I'm not trying to just tear down the company, and even the comments we've made about GTF. To be honest, like, we're rooting for you guys. We genuinely want, like, I want GTF to be as great as it possibly can be. And it's doing a lot of things right. It just has some things that hopefully they can get better. Punny Factory, sure, there's a lot that I would like to see better, but I genuinely hope this is the worst game they make, but it's enough that they get the foot in the door, and every game after this only improves and gets better. Because there's stuff like, okay, the whole like metal rack system that they have the game, and seeing that the playfield had printing on the backside of it to show where to mount things and stuff. Like, they genuinely, they clearly care. They want this to be good. Hopefully this is the start of a great company. It's just, I just don't know how you come out swinging, ready to compete with the big boys, and not, I don't know, like, you've got to realize you are going to be compared to the big boys. You have to be at that level in quality.
Yeah. Well, it's also too, you got to figure out a way to get your product priced as such that you at least get entry level into the market. So if you're already priced yourselves out of the market, like, you're screwed. You're royally screwed unless you have a ton of money backing you. It's just to launch a product, and that's before I got into pinball. That's kind of my background, launching and investing in different products. It is very difficult to get something off the ground unless you get that right off the bat. It's very hard to pick up that same space afterwards, several months down the line, because people make their opinions so quick. Yeah. And once they make up their mind, guess what? The next shiny thing that goes in front of them, that's what gets their attention.
No, I get it. I get it. Well, we're over 2 hours, so we should probably wrap it up. I don't know. Is there anything else? Anything we missed? I think Tom is awake.
I'm just happy Tom's caffeine, even if it wore off. Tom like troopered through that.
Dude,
he played some pinball. He updated some games.
He recorded a 2-hour. He recorded a 2-hour podcast. Somehow managed to update at least 3 games that we heard, and played multiple games of pinball.
It was only one game that updated. That's the sad thing.
It's the same thing. All right. Let's plug it up. Travis, plug away. Plug all the things.
Yeah, you guys can find me right here on the Triple Drain Pinball Podcast, or if you're into stalking, I'm on Facebook. You guys can find me there. I'll friend you. It's fine.
One last thing. I'm going to let you plug, Tom. Don't worry. So this is something I'm excited about. I was trying to get creative with merch. Initially, I threw out this idea of like a small towel, and I got pooed all over because Travis thought it was the dumbest thing ever. But I thought a small towel, competitive players would be carried around, dry their hands off. So I thought it would be cool. I thought it would be a cool thing to see competitive players like carry around a triple drain towel, like a carabiner or something, hook it on their belt loop. I thought it was a great idea. Travis, that was dumb. So I was like, what's a piece of merch that we could do that I think is awesome? And believe it or not, I've started the process of getting quotes on lunchboxes because I was so hyped about the GTF lunchbox and it's not here. So why not get a triple drain lunchbox? So I'm looking into it. They would be black. It would have our Hydra logo. It would be real slick. The question
Would it
is,
have a thermos in it?
no, thermos are, I mean, it could, but they're expensive. So
to all of our married men out there, just tell your wives, get you a triple drain Pinball podcast lunchbox.
So what? Okay, I
work
get it.
with you.
What are you gonna? We have T-shirts. Check out Silverball Swag. Fox Cities now has Silverball Swag. Check it out. Silverballswag.com. It's awesome. We have T-shirts. We got hoodies. We got hats. We got all that. But my thing is like, is there something else that would be cool in pinball? Look at all your knickknacks back there, Travis. Imagine instead of your little. Oh, never mind. We can't see it because this camera's out. Imagine a lunchbox on the shelf, or you have an office. I think it's cool.
Joel.
You got your little
Joel. Didn't
whatever.
we for like the past 20 minutes just talk about how it's difficult, how to market certain things?
I think I'm throwing this out there. The other things we could do posters. There's cool metal posters. You could do coffee mugs. You can do all these things. What I'm asking the audience,
Hydra poster?
Yes, you could do a poster.
See, that would be
maybe
sweet.
I'd want that.
Yeah, I would want that. I
mean, something to hang on my wall.
I will take credit for this. I can
do posters.
Joel.
I
was like, hey, why don't we do?
We can do posters.
Poster.
That's the thing, though. Silverball Swag. Props to Will at that. There are things. There's a website that it all goes through. Posters is an option. Metal.
Why not?
Paper.
Why not koozies?
Yeah,
I don't know. Koozie. I'll look at a koozie.
Why aren't we starting an OnlyFans page?
Yeah, why not? Why not baby onesies, Joel? If we're doing lunchboxes,
we could do baby onesies. We could do baby. These are things, but lunchbox was the only thing.
Triple drain underwear.
Thing. I think there's underwear. We could do this. These are things that we could do.
We do thongs.
And these are things we could do easily because it's all print on demand. But the lunchbox is something we'd actually have to put in an order. What I'm sensing from you guys is you think it's a dumb idea. What I'm asking,
no, we should do a lunchbox. We will sell ones of them. We should definitely do a lunchbox.
Realistically, here's what's sad.
Maybe two.
Joel will buy it.
The minimum I would order.
He will hate buy it.
No,
I guarantee when it doesn't sell for like the first month, all of a sudden we'll sell like 12.
The minimum I would have to
all going to
order
Indiana
is 24. So that's the thing. 24. Believe it or not, I assumed you knickknacks would want one. So that's 3 of 24 that I think we could account for.
Let him talk, Travis. Then you got the floor.
I'm trying to save him, Tom.
I think it's cool.
Don't just let it go. Let him go.
You're right. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
No, sell Tom and I on this since we didn't have a pre-production meeting.
I don't have to sell you. If we got him, I would give you one. But what I'm asking,
no. I'm not saying you actually sell us one. I'm saying sell us on the idea that this is a good idea.
Yeah. I don't know. All I know is I know how excited I was to get a GTF lunchbox. So if I can't get a GTF lunchbox, why would I not want a triple drain lunchbox? That's my thought. I just thought it would be cool. I just think it's cool. So my question to the audience, if you think it's cool, please write me an email at tripledrain@gmail.com or send us a Facebook message. If I genuinely get 24, I'm buying them and I'm going to love it. And you know what, Travis, maybe you won't get one, but I'm excited about triple drain lunchboxes.
You're gonna have somebody email you telling you this is the greatest idea, Joel, and you're just gonna go buy 24.
Well, what's sad is
and then we're gonna
it's
be
a few
$100.
It's a few $100 to buy them.
Exactly. That's what I'm telling you. Don't
to be honest, to sell them, we're looking at probably like $40 to get it.
Joel.
But somebody's excited about it. Ray, imagine how many Hot Pockets you could put in our triple drain lunchbox.
You're gonna bankrupt our podcast,
23 people
Joel.
to buy a lunchbox so Joel can get one. Is basically
email or Facebook. Otherwise, if I hear nothing, what's funny is the distributor's like asking me about it. He's like, "Hey, I sent you that quote. Do you want to?"
I bet he is. He's like, hitting somebody. I got somebody. They're gonna get lunchboxes.
Maybe Zach would sell them at Flippin' Out.
No, I just whatever it is. It's just if somebody heard lunchbox and they're like, "That's pretty cool. I'd buy that." Great. Let me know. Otherwise,
you can put your sandwich in there.
You don't have to put anything. You can just put it on the shelf. You could just put it on a shelf.
Okay.
Can of
so
Coke.
you want to market this as a collectible?
Can of corn.
Is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
I understand
Okay,
most people don't need a
okay.
lunchbox, but
I could
it's
be
a
on
cool thing you could put on the shelf.
So what would be on the front of it? Would it be our logo?
It would be a black lunchbox with the Hydra logo.
Would it say triple drain?
Yes, that's part of the logo. It would not have our face unless that's something that people want. But fine, if the thing is, I've run out of wall space. Like I love the idea of posters.
I don't
I've
even
just
wanna
run
look
out of
at my
wall
face.
space. But if people would prefer a poster, great. We can absolutely do paper posters,
F it.
matted,
F it.
metal.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
You got my blessing. Let's do the lunchbox. You sold me
I need
on
the
it.
blessing of 23 other people, Travis. That's the problem.
Everybody's going to be like, yeah, Joel, do it. Because everybody loves Joel. So they'll be like,
pretty much.
great idea.
And please
Yeah.
realize
This
if
was
you
Tom's
email
idea.
us or Facebook us and say, I
That
like
guy.
the idea. If you email or Facebook and say, I like the idea of a lunchbox, I'm kind of counting on you to actually buy it. So and I don't know the final price yet, but it would probably be somewhere in the $40 range. Because we got to ship it and whatnot. So I'm not holding you accountable, but
we're counting
Don't-
on you to buy our
don't, you know,
lunchbox for $40.
don't blow my skirt
Y'all
up
need
here
your
and then
votes.
not buy it. Please. All right, that's it. Plug away, Tom.
I don't know how I can top that now.
I feel like the problem is as soon as I said, hey,
Now
go
it's
ahead
Led
and plug
Zeppelin.
away, Travis, people just stop listening because they're like, I don't need to hear the plugs.
I don't know.
No, this is
I don't
awesome.
even know where I am right now. So just I don't know.
Here, this is it's just. We really are so grateful for the Patreon people, but the three of us, we don't want to just go buy ourselves dinner with Patreon. We want to do something for the show. So that's why I was trying to get creative on cool merch.
We want to buy lunch boxes, a whole freaking pallet of
Yeah.
lunch box. You know what, Joel?
Yeah.
I know you like lunch boxes. I am going to support the lunch box, and at least even if they
Joel
don't sell,
did have the towel idea too.
The towel, you sure didn't just support that. You thought that was super dumb.
well, you gave the idea though. We segued that into a poster. I mean,
Okay,
it's just
yeah,
because
you
a
can hang a towel
towel
on the wall, but
because a
whatever.
towel would be well. Here's the
I could
difference.
give
though.
one
Okay.
to Adam McKinney.
Here, think about this, guys.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
okay, think. Okay, do you guys have anything up on your walls, like at all? Any artwork, anything?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's all over.
Do you two, as grown men, walk around with a towel in your pants?
I thought I clearly don't
Let
understand
me think
tournament
about
players.
this for a minute.
I thought I see all these tournament players and they wipe down the game when they're done. And so in my mind,
with
it's like
what?
they use their t-shirt, they flip their t-shirt inside out. But
because they don't want to walk around with
but that
towels
was
in
the
their
thought.
pants,
If they
Joel.
had an actual small towel, they would use the towel instead of their
I
t-shirt.
applaud you for the thought. I'm just letting you know the reality of it.
It's dumb. I get it. You did it.
I didn't say it's
not
dumb.
an
That's,
idea.
that's you.
It's just
not
dumb.
dumb. Yeah, it's just shouldn't spend money.
I don't know.
on
Maybe
it.
that's
That's
another thing.
all.
If anybody has a cool idea of something merch wise, I was just trying to what's a cool pinball thing that people don't have or a lot of people in pinball would use. That
Well,
was the thought. That was
you
How
could
about
probably
a
actually-
pinball with the Hydra logo on it?
Hmm.
Yeah,
and put that in your game. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know how
throw
you
that
do
in
it.
your
That's the
game.
problem. That's the problem. But
Well,
I
like,
feel like this is a conversation the three of us should probably have not on podcast. But
No, this is
No,
good
'cause
stuff
we're-
because
we talk to our viewers.
yeah,
Or
they're
listeners.
seeing how the bacon's made right now.
Yeah.
So
bacon made. Let's get a. You said that weird, but
Hydra
let's
bacon.
do an apron. You know, why not? While you're making that bacon,
what is
You
your
can-
fascination
Wear
with
an apron.
getting stuff that has to do with food or
you said
transporting
bacon
food?
made. I was just going off of that. But then
Okay,
you can
what-
put it in your lunchbox and take it away.
Okay, so we got hats. We obviously got sweatshirts.
Yeah.
We have all that.
I'm
What-
hungry
We can
all
do
of a
cups.
sudden.
We can do
What are we
cups. We
missing?
can do mugs. We
Why
can do
don't
socks.
we do a coffee mug?
Loser Kid did whole shoes. We could do shoes.
No,
But the problem is they don't make them past size 12.
Yeah,
and
we can't.
Tom and I are over here wearing 14 wide.
yeah,
Yeah, we can't do
Yeah.
shoes. No. We got to think outside the box, fellas. We're
Well, we can
we're
think.
close.
Think
We're
for us,
close.
please. That's what no, it's not going to happen right here. I'm just saying, think for us, please. If any of the listeners can email us and tell us a cool merch idea, that would be really appreciated. That'd be great. Yeah.
We're gonna get like 30 messages that are all about the lunchbox.
Dude, I would.
It's
I
gonna
would
happen.
love
I
it.
know.
Joel,
I would love it.
Just
If there
do it
was-
for Joel. Don't even think
Yeah.
about
They're gonna
it.
do it. They're gonna be Tom. Everybody's gonna be listening. Like that Travis Murie, what an asshole to Joel. And we're gonna tell him to get the lunch boxes.
That's a
Get 'em.
fantastic idea. We're gonna get 100 emails.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
No,
then I'm
I'm
going
gonna
to be.
sell
Definitely buy a
Then I'm
lunchbox
really-
for
no.
$40.
Then I'm really going to pucker up because if it's like a big order, if it's a big order, and then all of a sudden, like, okay, you're telling me I have to order a
Okay.
bunch of
No, you gotta
lunchboxes and
pre-order. You
hope that
have
these
to
people are going to
pre-order it.
Yeah.
All
We're
right.
gonna have to figure
So
something out. Yeah.
does all 24? Do they have to be the same design,
Yes.
or is it just 24 pieces?
No, you have to order 24. all
Can
the
they
same
be
design. I
can they be
assume.
numbered like a limited edition?
that's what I
I
was
could
getting
pull
at.
out I could pull out a silver Sharpie. Hey, maybe that's something we could do.
All right.
We could
There we go.
we could sign
We
them,
could all
the
sign
three of
them.
them or something.
Could all
But that would
sign.
involve shipping them to each other.
No, we'll just meet at a show.
Yeah, that's
Expo.
fine.
I show up
Like-
with 24 at
Yeah.
Expo. I show up with a crate of 24 lunchboxes.
We
Be like,
sit
sorry
at
guys,
the
we gotta go
guys.
sign, gotta go sign our
A table
lunchboxes.
with like 24 lunch boxes, and we just
Yeah.
look so
He
sad.
just
What's gonna
throws
suck-
it right
Just
all
walks
over my
past us.
stream desk.
What's gonna suck is like Dr. John in Australia is gonna order one, and we're gonna have to ship it out to there. It'll be more than the lunchbox. Neil McRae is gonna order 2, and we're gonna find a way to ship it to him.
I can't
Jeez.
wait. We're gonna have these at TPF next year, and that lady that waited behind Neil on Godfather's gonna walk by.
I know,
Just
man.
Scoff at us.
Okay,
fine.
enough of that.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it, Joel.
No, we've talked
I-
20 minutes. We've
No.
talked 20 minutes about
I'm on
this.
record. I'm
Yeah.
on record.
Yep.
I am all for the lunch boxes.
I know.
You've heard it from
I've
me.
been here. It's a good
I'm
spot.
not going back.
That's the record.
Oh, thank you.
Tom,
Perfect.
Tom, are you giving thumbs up for the lunchbox?
Yeah, I mean, if
Should we do
people
it?
want it.
Yeah, boy, yeah.
Joel wants it. Joel
Calm down,
works
Tom.
hard.
Well,
It's
I
a
know
great
Joel
idea.
wants it. I mean,
Joel is all in on
Joel's
the
like,
lunchbox. So
swing,
let's
lunchbox, swing.
let's do it. Joel would not drive us off a cliff.
No,
He's certainly
I'm just
driving
going
us
to be
into an
stuck.
inferno.
I'm going to waste
but
our
not
money and
the
be
cliff.
stuck with 20 lunchboxes is what's going to happen. Yeah,
We're gonna
my daughter has my
gonna have a
5-year-old daughter has a
giveaway.
unicorn lunchbox, and I'm going to say, nah, you're using this one from now on.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what. If the lunchbox things happens, I will buy one and gift
Love
it to somebody.
We'll give one away.
Yeah,
we're
we'll
going to
give
end up
one
giving
away.
them all
We're
away.
gonna
is
give
what's
a lot
We're going to
away,
be giving We're just going to say. We're
Want
going to say.
this?
Yeah.
There's a year's supply of lunch boxes. There you go.
Oh, man.
All right, so plugs.
Plugs, yes. Tom, can you plug in that voice changer though? Can you use that, please?
Sure.
Hi everybody. This is Tom. I'm Fox City's Pinball. That's all.
Fox City's Pinball. That's cool quality content. Why do people listen to this show? Why do people do this? Okay. Yep. I'm Joel. I do the flipping out stream. No idea, man. I do the flipping out stream every Wednesday night from 10 to midnight. Feel free to join us live for that or check out the streams afterwards on YouTube. Yeah, if you happen to be watching this on YouTube, subscribe, like, leave a comment, all those things. You can comment here too. I want to buy a lunchbox. God, this show sucks.
We're just gone off the rails.
Man. All right.
Don't sound like paint drying now, do I?
Oh, it's so good. All right. Tom gets the last words, and remember, Travis, I have to play the little sound bite, so don't talk.
Bye.